Chapter 548 Blood Moon Holy Lord 4. Now that the Yunshao sect divine beast struck, it saved lots of effort for them. The elders and remaining disciples of Yunshao sect wore a proud expression when they saw their divine beast attacking. Their Yunshao sect's divine beast was extremely powerful. Even if another person at the level of a Blood Moon sect elder came, it would be no big deal. That divine beast cried fiercely and attacked the silver-haired man with its golden beak. Fear arose in the hearts of the Xianling sect masses at the sight. Xianling sect's golden formation was broken by the Yunshao sect divine beast's beak. Who in this world could block an attack of the beak? The corners of the blood-colored long robe swayed, and the man's silver hair tousled in the air. An appalling scene played out in this world. There was no change in emotions in the silver-haired man's eyes while his face was still as cold as a glacier. Standing in midair silently, he slowly pointed out a finger towards that invincible beak. Boom! A frightening explosion erupted. In the next second, the sound of the explosion reverberated hundreds of miles around the area. Before everyone's eyes of disbelief, the silver-haired man used a finger and gently nipped the Yunshao sect divine beast's beak. Swoosh! The enormous body of the divine beast was flung several miles away instantly. Then, the Yunshao sect divine beast was rammed into an old mountain that was hundreds of meters tall. What followed right on the heels was a scene that rendered many speechless. The old mountain was crushed into pieces immediately, and countless of huge rocks fell like a rainstorm. The entire mountain turned into dust. The silver-haired man's expression was calm, and it was as though he had not done anything. At that instant, the scene was dead silent. It was as though everyone forgot to breathe, and only the faint throbbing of hearts could be heard. The smile on the Yunshao sect elders' faces froze completely before turning into expressions of indescribable horror and shock. Only Li Chenfeng shut his eyes as a look of suppression filled his face. Both Yuehua sect and Lingyun sect were overwhelmed with horror as they looked at that silver-haired man as if what happened was an illusion. Below in Xianling sect, the sect disciples were dumbfounded. Their lips twitched and mouths opened, but not a single word came out. Xianling sect master, Elder Mo, Elder Qin, and others were stunned and did not return to their senses for a long time. Yi Yu's expression changed immediately. The Yunshao sect divine beast was actually, by that silver-haired man. Shock was written all over Yi Qingtang's face as she looked at the imposing figure that stood upright and tall before her. Holy Lord! The Blood Moon Elder was the first to return to his senses as he rushed over rapidly and knelt before the silver-haired man. We pay our respects to the Holy Lord. The Blood Moon Division head, Shu'a Tianzong, Blood Demon, and other branch masters greeted in unison with eyes filled with ardent worship, as they knelt beside the silver-haired man Blood Moon. He is. The high-ranking executives of Yuehua sect and Lingyun sect were dumbfounded. Blood Moon sect supreme. Blood Moon Holy Lord. 1,000 years ago when Blood Moon sect was attacked by the combined forces of hundreds of sects, the Blood Moon Holy Lord appeared at the last moment and swept the sects away by himself like a real god, making the powerful figures in the sects aware of the differences between a human and a god. Chapter 549 Blood Moon Holy Lady 1. That fear was deeply imprinted in their memories to the point that their descendants would have an unknown fear when they heard of the Blood Moon Holy Lord. If not for the ultimate elder's appearance in that battle which impeded the Blood Moon Holy Lord, the hundreds of super sects would have probably been long destroyed by the Blood Moon Holy Lord's hands 1,000 years ago. What was a true god? One that ruled the world with a hand. What was a true god? One that killed everyone who went against him. What was a true god? One that ignited generations of fear. When hundreds of sects combined forces and revolted, he wanted to exterminate all of the sects. When no one in the world could accept him, he wanted to massacre everyone. It was he who once made the Blood Moon War drum resonate throughout the world. It was he who once let the Blood Moon War flag fly high in the sky. It was he who ruled the world in the name of the Blood Moon sect. Blood Moon Holy Lord. Yi Qingtang looked at the rather lonely back view of her cheapskate brother in shock. She originally thought that he was only an ardent worshipper of the Blood Moon sect who claimed to be the Blood Moon Holy Lord. Never would Yi Qingtang have thought that the cheapskate brother she picked up on her way back was really the Blood Moon Holy Lord. She did not think that this Blood Moon Holy Lord would be so honest. Even if it was anyone else, they would most likely not believe him as well. He is the Blood Moon Holy Lord. How can it be? The Blood Moon Holy Lord disappeared for 1,000 years. Why would he reappear in the world? Quickly escape. Quickly escape. Run. After a long while, the hundreds of people from the 3 super sects were finally sober. His long blaze-red robe swayed. Although there was only one person before them, he was the pillar of this world, and the gap between them and him was an eternally insurmountable gap. In the eyes of the Blood Moon Holy Lord, the so-called super sect was no different from an ant. In just an instant, hundreds of people fled in all directions. However, a blood-red screen enveloped the place, and those powerful figures from the super sects who initially fled away in a flurry froze completely. Yi Qingtang looked into the red screen, where those powerful figures were still like a frozen image. The Blood Moon Holy Lord's indifferent eyes landed on the Blood Moon Division head before him. The Blood Moon Holy Lord asked coldly, replying, Holy Lord, I am one of the 36 division heads, Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen was agitated, and his face flushed. The Blood Moon Holy Lord nodded. Why did you want to attack her? The Blood Moon Holy Lord said. Upon hearing that, Jiang Chen quivered, and immense fear filled him. Don't know her identity. She claimed to be a Blood Moon Guardian. Jiang Chen was extremely nervous. Guardian? The Blood Moon Holy Lord looked at Yi Qingtang immediately. You didn't tell me your identity. Yi Qingtang mumbled as she shifted her gaze away guiltily. The Blood Moon Holy Lord was emotionless. Didn't I? He seemed to have indeed said that he was the Blood Moon Holy Lord. However, the Blood Moon Holy Lord had disappeared for 1,000 years and was a legendary figure on this mainland. How would she believe that he would be so blunt and reveal his identity without any concealment? All this time, Yi Qingtang thought that her sworn brother was a Blood Moon sect fanatic and even thought to pull him back from astray one day. She would have never thought that he would actually be real. The Blood Moon Holy Lord's eyes were fixed on Yi Qingtang as though they could bewitch one's heart. Token, the Blood Moon Holy Lord said. Chapter 550 Blood Moon Holy Lady, 2. What token? Yi Qingtang asked instinctively. Blood Moon Holy Lord stared at her. Suddenly, Yi Qingtang recalled that her sworn brother once passed her a blood token before he left. Is it this? Yi Qingtang took out the blood token from her space ring. After seeing the token in Yi Qingtang's hand, the expressions of Jiang Chen, Blood Demon, Shuo Tianzong, and the rest changed immediately. That token was not any Blood Moon Guardian. We pay our respects to the Holy Lady. Shuo Tianzong said first. I offended Holy Lady by accident. Please have mercy on me. The Blood Moon Division head's face paled, and his body weakened. In the Blood Moon sect, the Blood Moon Holy Lady held a supreme position, and even the Blood Moon sect master was required to bow in respect when he saw the Holy Lady. However, Jiang Chen, Shuo Tianzong, and the rest could not understand why a dignified Blood Moon Holy Lady would downgrade her identity and pretend to be a Blood Moon Guardian. What exactly did she do that for? Blood Moon Holy Lady? Yi Qingtang looked at the blood taken in her hand and pointed to herself instinctively. Aha, the Blood Moon Holy Lord said indifferently. Me? Yi Qingtang thought she heard wrongly and asked again. Blood Moon Holy Lord stared at her with a blank expression. Yi Qingtang was rather confused, and she was in deep thought. That day, she saved a man who fell from the sky and then jokingly became sworn siblings with him and obtained a token. Immediately afterward, she became the Holy Lady of Blood Moon sect from a sect disciple? She really did not know if she should say that her luck was too amazing or that the Blood Moon Holy Lord was too casual and did anything he pleased. It was the dignified Holy Lady of a sect, but he just gave it to her so casually. At that very moment, Yi Qingtang suddenly understood why the Blood Moon Elder could reach his initial position. Was this Blood Moon Holy Lord so casual in appointing people? Holy Lady, As the Blood Moon Holy Lady, why did you pretend to be a Blood Moon Guardian? This. Jiang Chen felt that he simply could not understand the Blood Moon Holy Lady before him. She was clearly already handpicked by the Holy Lord to be the Holy Lady, yet why did she still want to assume the identity of a Blood Moon Guardian? Even though the Yunshao sect disciples pointed out Yi Qingtang's identity earlier on, the Blood Moon Holy Lord was present at the scene currently, and Jiang Chen naturally believed his Holy Lord unconditionally. What Xianling sect disciple or not? This was the Holy Lady of Blood Moon sect. Below in Xianling sect, Elder Mo's mouth hung ajar. His disciple, Yi Qingtang, was Blood Moon sect's Supreme Holy Lady. Xianling sect's sect master, Elder Mo, and everyone else were stupefied as well. For a moment, they stopped thinking normally, their brains were completely blank. Their Xianling sect had a Blood Moon sect Holy Lady. The Blood Moon Holy Lady is my junior sister? Qin Huan looked at Feng Moli beside him with wide eyes. Feng Moli, am I dreaming? How about you give me a slap on my... Qin Huan said. Pow. As Qin Huan finished his sentence, Feng Moli slapped Qin Huan immediately. Feng Moli. You were for real. Qin Huan touched his burning cheeks. Reality had proven that he was not dreaming, but wasn't Feng Moli's slap a little too ruthless? Blood Moon sect's Holy Lady was really his junior sister. He was the Blood Moon Holy Lattice senior brother. My junior sister is the Blood Moon Holy Lady. I am the Blood Moon Holy Lattice senior brother. Qin Huan exclaimed. Similarly, Zhu Chang'e was very agitated and in disbelief. Chapter 551 Blood Moon Holy Lady, 3. Suddenly, the Blood Moon sect did not appear to be so frightening as to how it was described in the rumors. Today, if the Blood Moon sect did not offer help, the Xianling sect might have been exterminated. The Blood Moon sect was exterminated by a few hundred super sects together 1,000 years ago just because it was too powerful. It ruled the world, and every sect had to pay tribute to the Blood Moon sect every month. The young geniuses in the world all worshipped the Blood Moon sect. They wanted to join the Blood Moon sect to follow the Blood Moon Holy Lord. It was a huge honor to have a look at the Blood Moon Lord. That was the reason why the martial culture of the sects declined slowly. More and more geniuses refused to join sects, and the sects would fall eventually in the long run. In the end, a few hundred sects combined forces and decided to exterminate the Blood Moon sect. To this day, no one could say whether it was the Blood Moon sect that messed up the rules or the few hundreds of sects that messed up the orders of the world. The Blood Moon sect was called the heretic sect for hundreds of years after it was exterminated. As the descendants who did not participate in the incident, no one knew the exact details. However, when everyone was still in shock, a thunder-like voice reverberated in the surroundings. Blood Moon Holy Lord, where are you going to run to now? As the voice was heard, a white-haired elder in a cloth gown appeared. Yi Qingtang was stunned as she saw the elder. She had met the elder a few days ago as well. When the Blood Moon Division head Jiang Chen and Shuo Tianzong witnessed the elder clearly, they seemed to be facing their greatest enemy. The Ultimate Elder? Even the Blood Moon Holy Lord frowned. The Ultimate Elder waved his arm, and a ray of white light appeared in the sky, dashing towards the blood barrier. People of Yunshao sect and Lingyun sect suddenly returned to normal at the same time. However, their memories seemed to remain at the moment when the Blood Moon Holy Lord appeared. Run! One of the Yunshao sect elders shouted in fear. Yi Yu's face was cold, and she took a glimpse at Yi Qingtang unwillingly. She withdrew her sight when she saw the Blood Moon Holy Lord beside her. Hundreds of figures swiped through the sky and disappeared in the next second. What's the point of running away? The Ultimate Elder frowned and shouted. People of the 3 super sects had disappeared, and no one saw the appearance of the Ultimate Elder. A batch of cowards. The Ultimate Elder humphed. Are you done with chasing? The Blood Moon Holy Lord finally said something. Are you done with running? The Ultimate Elder smiled coldly. People of the Blood Moon sect stared at each other. No one dared to take a move without the words from the Holy Lord. Blood Moon Holy Lord, I stopped you from killing innocent people back then, and you wanted to kill me. You chased me for 500 years. You shouldn't forget about that, right? The Ultimate Elder said. Same for you, the Blood Moon Holy Lord said indifferently. Hee, it's lucky that I ran fast enough. If not, I would be killed by you. You mis-entered the Chi deviation 500 years ago as you cultivated the fiend's skills. You were not able to beat me anymore, and the wheel turned. From then on, I also chased you for 500 years. To be fair, you run faster than me back then. The Ultimate Elder said. Yi Qingtang was shocked by what she just heard. The Blood Moon Holy Lord and the Ultimate Elder disappeared for 1,000 years. And that was the reason. The two legends on this piece of land chased each other for 500 years respectively. This was another kind of romance. Chapter 552 Replenish for Prosperity 1. Today, I will kill you anyway to benefit the world. The Ultimate Elder's eyes flickered. He smashed his palm down towards the Blood Moon Holy Lord without any sign. Just the force of the palm seemed to be able to shake the entire earth. However, the Blood Moon Holy Lord did not bother to fight against him. He faded into the void and disappeared. Blood Moon Holy Lord, you cultivated the recurrent fiend skills, and that led to the development of the mental demons. If you still choose to run away, it will accelerate the development of your mental demons, and then they'll see whether you really enter the rebirth cycle. The Ultimate Elder gritted his teeth as the Blood Moon Holy Lord ran away again. He immediately chased after him. Holy Lord! The Blood Moon Division head and the rest were shocked. Yi Qingtang blocked their way when they were about to follow up. Holy Lady! The Blood Moon Division head Jiang Chen felt perplexed. Even the Blood Moon Holy Lord is not able to fight against the Ultimate Elder. Are you going to sacrifice yourself for no reason if you follow up? Yi Qingtang said coldly. But Shuo Tianzong and Soul-Severing Troll knew that Yi Qingtang's words were reasonable, but they could not be relieved. The Ultimate Elder had chased the Blood Moon Holy Lord for 500 years and did not succeed. Do you think he will succeed this time? Yi Qingtang said as she saw how disturbed the people of the Blood Moon sect were. Without giving them any chance to say anything again, Yi Qingtang waved her hand and said, You should leave now. Oh lady, but the Blood Moon Division head still wanted to say something. There's no buts. I order you as the Blood Moon Holy Lady, leave now. Yi Qingtang frowned. The super sects would return soon when they sensed the breath that the Ultimate Elder left. People of the Blood Moon sect would not have the chance to leave alive then. The Blood Moon Division head Jiang Chen had to listen to the order together with other branch masters. Master, Grand Elder, please pack up and leave with me and the Blood Moon sect. Yi Qingtang said and looked towards Elder Mo and the rest in the Xianling sect. However, the Grand Elder shook his head and sighed. Qingtang, look at those disciples. Yi Qingtang scanned around, and there were more than a few hundred disciples with severe injuries. They treated the Xianling sect as their home and decided to stay to protect our sect. They are injured severely, and they will definitely die if there is no treatment given to them. As the Grand Elder of the sect, how can I leave my family for my own safety? The Grand Elder sighed again. Elder Mo and the rest also shook their head upon hearing the Grand Elder's words. Though they would survive if they left with Yi Qingtang, what could the disciples do? As the higher-ups of the sect, how could they leave the disciples here and escape? Before Yi Qingtang could say anything, there were few hundreds of strong breaths approaching. It's the three super sects. They sensed the remaining breath of the Ultimate Elder and are coming back. The Blood Demon said, Holy Lady, can you pass me your token? Said a Blood Moon branch master who was an expert in array formation. Yi Qingtang did not hesitate and gave him the blood token. Holy Lady, there is the divine power of the Holy Lord left in the token. I can use the divine power to create a barrier outside the Xianling sect. That way, no one will be able to enter the Xianling sect from outside, but people of Xianling sect can go out anytime, the elder said. Oh! Yi Qingtang was stunned slightly. So there was the Blood Moon Holy Lord's divine power left in the token. I hope all readers enjoyed the mass release slightly smiling face. Chapter 553 Replenish for Prosperity 2. However, The token will not be able to prove your identity as the Holy Lady after the power is used. Only our division will know. If you want to command the other division with this token, they may not trust you. The elder explained his concern. Her identity as the Blood Moon Holy Lady was only known by this division. Other divisions were not clear about that. That doesn't matter. Without the identity as the Holy Lady, I can disguise as the guardian or the elder as well. Yi Qingtang waved her hand. The lips of the Blood Moon Division head Jiang Chen and the Blood Demon shivered slightly as they heard what Yi Qingtang said. She was the superior Holy Lady of the Blood Moon sect, and she had to lower herself to disguise as the guardian and the elder. Since the Holy Lady approves, I shall obey your command. The elder lowered his head and created some kind of markings with his palms to force out the Holy Lord's divine power in the token. Swoosh! A ray of blood-red luster came out of the token and surrounded the entire Xianling sect instantly. People of Xianling sect, this barrier can only be broken by the ultimate elder and the Blood Moon Holy Lord. However, the divine power inside can only last for half a year. You should never leave the barrier. Once any of you leaves, it's impossible to return, the elder said. Thank you so much. Elder Mo greeted with cupped fists. Xianling sect will never forget the favor from the Blood Moon sect. Elder Qin also said, thank you for giving us half a year to replenish. The Xianling sect master's eyes were filled with joy. The resources in the sect were enough for all the disciples for half a year. Those injured disciples had hope now. I shall leave with junior brother Mo then, Ji Xuan said towards the Grand Elder. Okay. The Grand Elder nodded. Ji Xuan and Mo Changkong were disciples of the Falling Sky Valley in the Nine Knights dynasty. Apparently, they could not stay in the Xianling sect. Furthermore, the Falling Sky Valley was not in good terms with the super sects of the Formidable Heavens dynasty. It would be too late for them to leave once the super sects arrived. Holy Lady, I owe you 2 favors now, and I will never forget them. If there is anything I can help with in future, please ask. I will do anything for you. Ji Xuan flew towards Yi Qingtang and said with cupped fists. It's all right, Yi Qingtang said. She heard more than once from Master in her previous life that Ji Xuan was boring but honest and frank. He would never forget any favor, nor any grudges. Junior sister Holy Lady, Mo Changkong looked at Yi Qingtang with a complex expression. From the letters between him and his father Elder Mo, he knew about Yi Qingtang long ago. Elder Mo's letter was full of pride and fondness towards Yi Qingtang. However, he did not expect that Yi Qingtang would be the Holy Lady of the Blood Moon sect. He did not know whether Yi Qingtang, as the Blood Moon Holy Lady, would admit him as her senior brother as they had never met before. Senior brother Mo, we'll see each other again. Yi Qingtang smiled. The complex expression on Mo Changkong's face was replaced with joy upon hearing Yi Qingtang addressing him as senior brother. All right. I have never imagined that I would be the senior brother of the Blood Moon Holy Lady. It seems like I will have some connections with the Blood Moon sect as well in the future. Chapter 554 Replenish for Prosperity 3. There were plenty of rumors about the Blood Moon sect, but people had never seen them before. Now, the Xianling sect avoided the calamity due to the Blood Moon sect's help. They started to neglect the rumors of the Blood Moon sect slowly. Ji Xuan and Mo Changkong looked at somewhere far away. The strong breaths of the hundreds of people were very close now. Junior sister, I shall leave with senior brother Ji now. I believe we'll meet again, as what you said, Mo Changkong said. Take care, Yi Qingtang said. Take care as well. Mo Changkong folded his fists. Lady Yi, I'm looking forward to meeting you again, Ji Xuan said. He then disappeared with Mo Changkong. Yi Qingtang looked towards the Blood Moon Division head Jiang Chen and said, you should leave soon. Us? The Blood Moon Division head was confused. Holy Lady, aren't you leaving with us? Shuo Tianzong asked in confusion as Yi Qingtang did not seem to retreat. Yi Qingtang pondered as she had more important things to do. It would not be easy for her to get the Black Heaven water from the Mystic Realm based on the current condition of Xianling sect. The array formation that Xianling sect had used to protect the Mystic Realm was broken during the fight. The Mystic Realm did not belong to Xianling sect anymore. Wind Moon sect and Qinglin sect, especially the super sects, would definitely rush inside and claim their ownership. Wuxia world. Sichuanling sect's mystic realm was the source of inheritance. Normally, no one could enter besides Xianling sect. But now, the situation was different. The Black Heaven water could help her spirit root to level up, and that was her initial intention to enter Xianling sect. Now, she must get the Black Heaven water. No matter what happened, she needed to reach the mystic realm in order to get the Black Heaven water. Holy Lady? The Blood Moon Division head Jiangchen called out to Yi Qingtang slightly as she remained silent. Yi Qingtang then pulled herself out of her thoughts and looked at Jiangchen and the rest. I will not follow you. She made her decision. Huh. Jiangchen was shocked. If anything happened to the Blood Moon Holy Lady, how could they face the sect master and the Holy Lord in future? Of course, the Blood Moon Holy Lord might just punish them according to the sect rules. However, Yi Qingtang had her own plans. Getting the Black Heaven water was just the first step. After that, she needed to go to the Nine Knights dynasty to find out her parentage. She did not have much time. The Xianling sect was safe for now, but after half a year, the barrier would be useless, and the calamity would arrive again. The Yunshao sect would never let go of the Xianling sect due to the secrets they knew. Yi Qingtang only had half a year's time. She needed to increase her ability to the level of a Yin-Yang True Lord within half a year. If not, Holy Lady, you should leave with us. How can we allow you to risk your life in the world? The Blood Moon Division head tried to convince Yi Qingtang with valid reasons so that she could return to the division with them. Yi Qingtang thought about that before. The remote place was full of dead breath. There was no vitality at all. People of the Blood Moon sect could refine the dead breath to restore their strength, but she could not. It would be a waste of time for her to go to the remote place. Don't say anything anymore. I have made my mind, Yi Qingtang said. Jiangchen sighed as his Holy Lady insisted. Chapter 555 Replenish for Prosperity. Since the Holy Lord had disappeared, the orders from the Holy Lady were a must to obey. As the Blood Moon Division head, Jiangchen had no authority to force the Holy Lady to leave with them. He had to go according to her plan. Shu Tianzong, you shall follow the Holy Lady in the future to ensure her safety. The Blood Moon Division head Jiangchen looked at Shu Tianzong after a while. That's not necessary. Yi Qingtang shook her head. Shu Tianzong was indeed strong, but as the Blood Moon sect branch master, he would be needed by the division. Furthermore, she got too many things to settle. It would be inconvenient for him to follow her. Shu Tianzong appeared to be depressed when Yi Qingtang rejected the offer. It would be a great honor for him to be able to follow the Blood Moon Holy Lady. I shall not insist since Holy Lady has already made her mind, Jiangchen said respectfully. After a short while, the Blood Moon Division head Jiangchen waved his hand at Yi Qingtang and led everyone back. The 8 scarlet demonic beasts pulled the huge blood-colored carriage and disappeared gradually. When the people of the Blood Moon sect were leaving, there was another figure that was trying to sneak away. Where do you want to go? Yi Qingtang smashed her palm down as the Blood Moon Elder was sneaking his way out. Pow! Yi Qingtang's palm landed heavily on the Blood Moon Elder's left shoulder. The Blood Moon Elder shivered and turned over immediately. He forced out an awkward smile and said, Holy Lady, do you still have any orders to give? Yi Qingtang sized up the Blood Moon Elder in front of her. She appeared to be full of interest and said, Weren't you always thinking about when you could finally kill me with one move? How could she not know the plans that the Blood Moon Elder had all the time? The revolving soul orb that he gave her previously must be part of his plan to kill her. However, the revolving soul orb fell into Elder Lin's hand by chance, and he was the one that took the full blast of the explosion. If not, she would be dead from the explosion of the revolving soul orb. The Blood Moon Elder's body trembled, and he almost fell to the ground upon hearing her words. The Blood Moon Elder pretended to comply the day when Yi Qingtang forced her to sign the contract, but he never stopped planning to kill her one day from that moment. However, the Yi Qingtang back then was just a Xianling sect disciple. Now, she was the Blood Moon Holy Lady. He would never dare to have the same thoughts in the past anymore. Holy Lady, I don't understand what you mean. The respect I have for you is heavier than the stretch of mountains, deeper than the ocean, higher than the giants. Yi Qingtang waved her hand in disgust to stop him from nagging and spurting out saliva. The change in attitude was so fast, and so did his skill of saying nonsense improve. It seemed like he deserved more than the position as the Blood Moon Elder based on his abilities. He could even be a guardian. My infatuation towards Holy Lady can be proved by the sun and the moon, by the heaven and the earth. Cold sweat started to appear on the Blood Moon Elder's forehead. Infatuation. Yi Qingtang frowned and showed an odd expression. No, 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 my loyalty. The Blood Moon Elder changed his wording immediately. Loyalty? Yi Qingtang squinted her eyes. Chapter 556. We will meet again someday? 1. No, no, no. It's not infatuation nor loyalty. It's... The Blood Moon Elder was soaked in cold sweat, and his thoughts were rather jumbled. As he thought of his disrespect towards the Blood Moon Holy Lady, even if he had 1,000,000 heads and they were all chopped off, it would not be enough to redeem himself. Fear intensified within him, and in addition to being glared at by Yi Qingtang, he trembled continuously, and his mind was blank. That's what the heart thinks. All our hearts become one. Do what the heart wants, 2 hearts beat as one. Yi Qingtang stared at him, startled. Did this old fellow lose his mind? I think you are working your heart out while your heart is startled. You shaking with fear means that you have a guilty conscience. Yi Qingtang was completely amused by the Blood Moon Elder. Holy Lady, have mercy, Holy Lady. The Blood Moon Elder's face turned white in an instant. Did you want to say a heart of sincerity? Yi Qingtang had a teasing expression. Yes, 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 yes. The Blood Moon Elder slapped his thigh and nodded continuously. Holy Lady is right. It is a heart of sincerity. The heart of sincerity I have towards Holy Lady can be appraised by heaven and earth, the sun and moon. Before Blood Moon Elder finished speaking, Yi Qingtang waved a hand again and interrupted him as she stared at the Blood Moon Elder in curiosity. How exactly did you reach the position of the Blood Moon Elder? I don't know either. Puzzlement filled the Blood Moon Elder's face. Although I also felt that I could become a Blood Moon Guardian with my skills back then, the Blood Moon Holy Lord did not pay me any attention, so I could only be an elder. Finally, Yi Qingtang gave the Blood Moon Elder who was close to losing his mind a big thumbs up. You've won. In Xianling sect, Elder Mo and Elder Qin looked at each other. Wasn't that Blood Moon Elder their Xianling sect disciple, Zhou Chu? But thinking about it carefully, if Yi Qingtang could become a Blood Moon Holy Lady, there seemed to be nothing strange if Zhou Chu was the Blood Moon Elder. Although Xianling sect feared the resurrection of Blood Moon sect due to the rumors previously, thinking about it now, Yi Qingtang did not do anything to harm Xianling sect and even led the Blood Moon sect members here today, which prevented the tragedy of Xianling sect's annihilation. To the Xianling sect masses, the words Blood Moon sect were no longer frightening as before. Rather, Yunshao sect, whom they had always revered, wanted to massacre them. After this battle, the distinction between the righteous and the evil blurred in their hearts. What exactly was righteous? And what was evil? The Blood Moon sect had countless terrifying rumors, but how many of them were started by the various super sects? The credibility of these rumors. Qingtang, why aren't you fleeing yet? Once more people from Yunshao sect come, you will not be able to flee anymore. The Grand Elder shouted to Yi Qingtang. Qingtang, don't worry about us. Lingyun sect and Yuehua sect are reasonable sections. With the support of this array formation, Yunshao sect cannot do anything to Xianling sect. Elder Mo looked at Yi Qingtang and said, although Lingyun sect and Yuehua sect were known to be super sects just like Yunshao sect, they were much more upright and honorable than Yunshao sect. At least, Lingyun sect and Yuehua sect had no scandals of allowing the sect disciples to snatch others' spirit roots. With the appearance of Yuehua sect and Lingyun sect currently, Yunshao sect would probably be suppressed by them from then on once they learned of the reason behind Yunshao sect's decision to annihilate Xianling sect. Even if Yunshao sect wanted to do anything, they had to relatively exercise more restraint. Junior Sister Yi, don't worry about us. Qin Huan, Zhuchanga, and other sect disciples shouted as well. Chapter 557. We will meet again someday, too. Alright. Take care, everyone. Yi Qingtang nodded. She was aware of it as well. Although there was a huge difference between today's battle and what she imagined, at least the outcome was still not that bad and Xianling sect was temporarily saved. After sensing that the powerful aura of the three super sects was nearing, Yi Qingtang bade Elder Mo and everyone else goodbye before disappearing along with the Blood Moon Elder. Currently, Xianling sect was protected by the divine power of the Blood Moon Holy Lord and was extremely safe. Thus, there was no need to worry. On the contrary, Yi Qingtang offended Yunshao sect completely. All of this, though, was Yi Qingtang's plan. Back when Xianling sect had no other ways to survive, Yi Qingtang could only use herself to attract Yunshao sect's grudge. Although it might not have worked, this method was all she could think of initially. However, Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder did not go far away. They held their breaths and observed in a hidden corner. In just a while, the three super sects returned. Hundreds of people stood in the air above Xianling sect and scanned the surroundings. Where's the ultimate elder? Yuehua sect's sect master was puzzled. After leaving just now, he suddenly felt the ultimate elder's aura and knew that the ultimate elder was attracted over because of the Blood Moon Holy Lord's appearance. Although the Blood Moon Holy Lord was extremely powerful and unrivaled, the ultimate elder could pin him down. Thus, they no longer had anything to be afraid of. After returning, everyone realized that the Blood Moon sect members and Blood Moon Holy Lord had already disappeared. There was no trace of even the ultimate elder. It must be that after the ultimate elder appeared, he was locked in a battle with the Blood Moon Holy Lord. For powerful figures of that level, a battle would extend for thousands of miles. I guess we don't even know where they've battled to now, the Lingyun sect master opined after a deep thought. I never thought that the Blood Moon Holy Lord who has disappeared for 1,000 years would suddenly appear. Even the ultimate elder appeared as well. Today is really... The Yuehua sect master sighed. However, the Yunshao sect elders including Li Chenfeng did not look too good. That Blood Moon Holy Lord inflicted heavy injuries to their Yunshao sect's divine beast with just a strike, and the divine beast was still unconscious now. Originally, from Yunshao sect's calculation, annihilating Xianling sect could be easily done. However, unexpectedly, not only was Xianling sect not annihilated, Yunshao sect suffered heavy losses instead. Xianling sect? Very quickly, the Lingyun sect master looked at the barrier protecting Xianling sect and could not help but comment. Xianling sect's heritage is indeed pretty powerful. The power of this barrier is extremely frightening, and there's simply no way of breaking it. I still heard that the Xianling patriarch appeared earlier. We had been belittling Xianling sect all this while, Yuehua sect master said as well. The three sects were unaware that the place was enshrouded in the Blood Moon Holy Lord's divine power and merely thought that Xianling sect's heritage was profound. The Yuehua sect masters switched the conversation to another subject quickly and looked at Li Chenfeng. Why did you, Yunshao sect, come to annihilate Xianling sect for no reason? The other two sects heard rumors that Yunshao sect wanted to annihilate Xianling sect and were a little curious. After all, Xianling sect was only an ordinary sect. What reason would Yunshao sect exterminate it for? It was, however, that they did not pay much attention to this matter and came here today only because of Blood Moon sect's appearance. Nonetheless, since they were there, they might as well voice their questions. After hearing that, Li Chenfeng and the other Yunshao sect elders frowned instantly, and rather abnormal expressions appeared on their faces. Chapter 558. We will meet again someday. 3. They did not think there would actually be so many accidents in annihilating an ordinary sect. Not only did the Blood Moon sect appear, but the other two super sects were also attracted over as well. Yet, the real reason that Yunshao sect wanted to annihilate Xianling sect for must absolutely not be told to these two super sections. I'm afraid you all are mistaken. Just as the Yunshao sect elders were at a loss of how to make up a plausible story, Yiyu, who was beside Li Chenfeng, suddenly took a step forward and said slowly, "The reason that we came to Xianling sect today is because a Xianling sect disciple killed several Yunshao sect disciples and heavily injured dozens of disciples. Hence, We wanted Xianling sect to hand the person over. Who knew that not only did they disobey our orders, they even protected the murderer and revolted as a group without giving our Yunshao sect any respect. Such a disrespectful sect should, of course, be annihilated. A Yuehua sect elder scoffed. Xianling sect is actually so presumptuous. The super sects simply did not care about ordinary sects, as the difference between them was like a chasm. For a Xianling sect disciple to kill a super sect's disciple, it was undoubtedly a case of the low-ranked offending the high-ranked. A super sect's dignity was offended, and Xianling sect's protection was all the more absurd. Nonsense! Suddenly, Elder Qin shouted from below. Fellow Yuehua sect and Lingyun sect people, actually, Yunshao sect came to annihilate Xianling sect because we discovered their ugly face that has been kept hidden from the world. Shut up! Li Chenfeng glared at Elder Qin furiously. Shut up! Before Elder Qin spoke, Qin Huan suddenly stood up and shouted, "The one who should shut up is you, this shameless old fellow." What did you say? A cold glint flashed across Li Chenfeng's eyes. But, do you want to scare me? Come and hit me. Qin Huan's left hand was on his waist and waved to Li Chenfeng with his right hand. Come in and kill me. Looking at Qin Huan's provoking stance, Zhu Chang'e, Feng Moli, and the rest were speechless. Xianling sect was enshrouded in the Blood Moon Holy Lord's divine power, and no one dared to charge in. Yunshao sect long wanted to annihilate Xianling sect, and hence, Xianling sect would not be polite to them at all. However, Qin Huan's provocation was truly savage. It vented their anger as well. Come over here. Zhu Chang'e echoed after Qin Huan and shouted loudly. You can come over here and kill us. Yunshao sect masses clenched their teeth, but they were helpless. Speaking of Yunshao sect scandal, the Yuehua sect master's interest was piqued. Why don't you say what scandal Yunshao sect has? Yuehua sect master, Yunshao sect possesses the evil technique of snatching one's spirit root. They placed their sect disciples in different sects and snatched the spirit roots of other sects' disciples. Elder Mo replied. What? After hearing the words, the expressions of the high-ranking executives in Yuehua sect and Lingyun sect changed immediately. Snatching others' spirit root was a martial Dao taboo. It was regarded as shameless by everyone in the world. After we discovered this scandal, Yunshao sect came to silence us. Xianling sect master replied. Rubbish. A Yunshao sect elder scoffed. You all must not believe these cunning people. How would our Yunshao sect commit such an evil act? Both Yuehua sect and Lingyun sect were in thought. Previously, they had already found the excuse that Yunshao sect used to annihilate Xianling sect a little superficial. After listening to Xianling sect's argument, it did not seem like a lie either. Otherwise, why would Yunshao sect bring such a large army and even deploy the divine beast just to get an explanation from a disciple? Chapter 559. We will meet again someday. 4. They could not only believe Xianling sect completely as well, since no one had any evidence after all. Moreover, Yunshao sect and Xianling sect were enemies, and the words of Xianling sect disciples might contain some slander. This is a private issue between Yunshao sect and Xianling sect and has nothing to do with us. However, it better be that Xianling sect is talking nonsense. If Yunshao sect is truly like what Xianling sect said. The Lingyun sect master sneered and stopped his sentence there. Before Li Chenfeng could explain, a shadow suddenly fell on the place. Almost instinctively, everyone gazed up in the air. A giant battleship floated in midair, where a man in white stood in it. Antiquity Palace. That person is Antiquity Palace's emissary, Mu Su. The three sects were extremely astonished. The Antiquity Palace was similar to the Blood Moon sect, except that the Blood Moon sect was evil while the Antiquity Palace was the leader of the righteous. Furthermore, the Antiquity Palace did not gather followers like the Blood Moon sect, and its palace lord was all the more mysterious. His skills were profound and unfathomable, and he rarely appeared before people. Including the people present in Xianling sect, everyone guessed that the Antiquity Palace's appearance was probably related to the Blood Moon sect. Standing on the battleship, Mu Su swept a glance over the area below him. He had already reached here a long time ago and originally intended to bring Yi Qingtang away. Yet unexpectedly, the Blood Moon Holy Lord suddenly appeared. Thus, he did not dare to casually appear. What Mu Su never expected was Yi Qingtang actually becoming the Blood Moon Holy Lady. How was he going to mention it to His Highness when he returned? Lord Mu Su, Xianling sect was speaking nonsense just now. Please do not believe it. Li Chenfeng's brows were tightly furrowed, as he did not know whether Mu Su heard what the Xianling sect elders had said. However, Mu Su vanished quickly without uttering a word. Once the Antiquity Palace's battleship was gone, Li Chenfeng finally sighed in relief. He immediately looked at Xianling sect with coldness filled in his eyes. This Xianling sect has to be gotten rid of? Allowing them to live in this world is not a good thing to Yunshao sect. However, it was difficult to break the barrier above Xianling sect, and this troubled him greatly. The sect protector Divine Beast was heavily injured and still required time to recuperate once it returned to the sect. There was simply no way it could continue to battle in a short time. Without the Divine Beast, it would be difficult to break Xianling sect's barrier. As Li Chenfeng stared at the barrier, a slightly odd feeling arose in his heart. If Xianling sect executed this barrier from the start, it would have probably been impossible for them to charge in. However, things had already reached this point, and Li Chenfeng did not continue to think further. At that instant, in a hidden corner, after seeing Mu Su passing by there, Yi Qingtang initially thought that the Antiquity Palace, as the leader of the righteous path, was there to rescue Xianling sect from the misery, but she ultimately realized that she was overthinking. Holy Lady, let's go. We must not let Yunshao sect find us, the Blood Moon Elder said softly. Let's go. Yi Qingtang agreed, and the two of them disappeared. Not long later, both Lingyun sect and Yuehua sect left successively while Yunshao sect secretly ordered people to watch Xianling sect. Although they could not enter the barrier, the Xianling sect people could leave the barrier. If they did not watch Xianling sect, all of the Xianling sect masses would escape before long. It was Li Chenfeng's excessive worry this time. Many disciples in Xianling sect were heavily injured and had to continue to be treated. Before those disciples recovered, the Xianling sect masses would naturally not go anywhere. Chapter 560a Story 1. Within the barrier, Qin Huan, Zhu Changge, Yun Shu, and other disciples, even Feng Moli, followed Qin Huan and insulted Yunshao sect loudly, which invigorated them. On the contrary, the expressions of the Yunshao sect disciples were extremely ugly, and they died to tear the Xianling sect disciples into pieces. Yet they were helpless. On that day, the Yunshao sect's sect master was enraged after learning of what happened. Not only was Xianling sect not annihilated, they instead let Yuehua sect and Lingyun sect learn about the matter, and even the Divine Beast was heavily injured. Li Chenfeng was in a bad mood after being reprimanded by the sect master. If Yi Qingtang had not pretended to be a Blood Moon Guardian and lead the Blood Moon sect masses there, Yunshao sect directly placed Yi Qingtang in the assassination role, and the reward even surpassed that of the first person on the assassination roll. Whoever captured Yi Qingtang alive could select any Dharma treasure in Yunshao sect. Many Yunshao sect elite disciples viewed Yi Qingtang as prey and were eager to give it a try. This was a chance where they could achieve instant success. In the dark night, outside a pavilion in Yunshao sect, the candlelight in the room shone brightly and emitted a faint aroma. Ning Luo was dressed in white with a chessboard before him. As Ning Luo held a chess piece, an unknown smile hung on his lips. A mysterious person who was wrapped in a black robe all over sat on the other side of the chessboard. This piece is still alive. Ning Luo chuckled softly. The black-robed man did not respond, seeming to be fully focused on playing chess. This group of Yunshao sect mobs was of great help. The corners of Ning Luo's lips curled up slightly. The plan is brought forward because of Yi Qingtang. This does not matter though. Everything is under control. A deep voice sounded from the black robe. Only when this game of chess is full of variables would it be exciting, and only as such would we, chess players, be even more serious, Ning Luo said. As he said that, a smile that sent shudders could be seen on Ning Luo's face as he glimpsed at the door. Senior Brother Zhua, After hiding outside my door and listening for such a long time, why don't you come on in? Ning Luo's emotionless voice sounded. Immediately, senior brother Zhuo's expression changed drastically. This senior brother Zhuo was the Yunshao sect inner sect disciple who first rescued Ning Luo away. He initially came today to find Ning Luo to talk about assassinating Yi Qingtang. After all, Ning Luo hid in Xianling's sect for a long time and should have some understanding towards Yi Qingtang's abilities. Yet, unexpectedly, there was actually an outsider in Ning Luo's room, and the two of them seemed to be secretly plotting something. Seeing that Ning Luo discovered him, senior brother Zhuo's expression changed, and he left immediately. He must notify this matter to Holy Lady Yu and the sect master. Ah! Ning Luo sighed. You came without greeting and left without bidding goodbye. What did you treat my place as? Afterward, as Ning Luo focused on the chessboard, his right palm stretched forward slightly. In an instant, a strange light erupted from Ning Luo's palm. Outside the door, senior brother Zhuo was overwhelmed with horror. He could not control his body and floated into Ning Luo's room. In just 2 breaths, senior brother Zhuo was grabbed by his throat by Ning Luo. However, Ning Luo never batted him an eye and smiled at the black-robed man. It's your turn. The black-robed man treated senior brother Zhuo as non-existent and focused on the chess game. Junior brother Ning Luo. What exactly are you? Senior brother Zhuo was shocked. From his memory, Ning Luo's skills could only be considered ordinary amongst the Yunshao sect inner sect disciples. Yet unexpectedly, senior brother Zhuo, Ning Luo said softly and interrupted him. Since you came to my residence as part of playing the host, let me tell you a story. Ignoring senior brother Zhuo's struggles, Ning Luo said as he played chess with the black-robed man, a long time ago, a true god descended from the heavens to the mortal realm. When she saw the infertile land, sympathy arose within her, and thus, she scattered her divine power to every corner of the world, letting those pitiful people see a trace of hope and a ray of light. Senior brother Zhuo was shocked. He neither knew what Ning Luo was talking about nor did he want to listen to his crazy words. All he wanted to do was to escape this bind and leave this place. However, Ning Luo's hand was as firm as a steel cage and barely moved an inch. At that moment, Ning Luo's story did not end. As the true god arrived, those once pitiful humans worshipped her and constructed a shrine where they viewed her as a faith. From then on, the power of faith was born in this world. However, as time passed, what the true god could offer to them was less and less. When he reached there, Ning Luo's eyes were completely cold, and his talking speed increased. Humans began to resent the true god. They began to think that she was no longer compassionate and no longer deserved to have a shrine. Ultimately, selfishness and greed bred in their hearts. They destroyed the shrine and the faith. Then, they combined forces to kill the true god and dissected her body to greedily suck the last trace of divine power in her body. Suddenly, the chessboard under the black-robed man crumbled, and the chess pieces scattered all over the floor. Ning Luo's expression returned to normal, and his eyes were indifferent as he looked at senior brother Zhuo. Senior brother Zhuo. The true god offered her everything selflessly and exhausted all her divine power to bless the mortal world. Humans were not grateful and even sucked dry the last bit of divine power in the true god's body by cutting her up and consuming her flesh. In your opinion, is it cruel? Since that's the case, why must the true god be compassionate to these humans? They must ultimately pay a terrible price for their ugly actions. You? Lunatic. What exactly are you thinking about? Let me go. Senior brother Zhuo felt like he was almost suffocated under Ning Luo's strangle. True god, I don't know. Ning Luo, this place is Yunshao sect. You better let me go. On account that you are my junior brother, I will definitely not spread this out. Ning Luo did not have any reaction at all. Fearful, senior brother Zhuo could not help but be submissive. In the next second, the sound of crushed bones rang. Ning Luo released his hands, and senior brother Zhuo collapsed on the ground powerlessly. His neck was already snapped, and he was no longer breathing. Very quickly, senior brother Zhuo's body was covered with a layer of ice which subsequently cracked and turned broken shards. It was as though Senior Brother Zhuan never existed in this world. When is the mystic realm opening? Ning Luo looked at the black-robed man. In half a month. A deep voice sounded from the black robe. I'm really looking forward to the arrival of that day. Ning Luo walked to the window with his hands behind him. The smile on his lips never disappeared. I'll take a leave first. The black-robed man rose slowly and turned into a ball of black fog in the pavilion before eventually vanishing without a trace. At that moment, only Ning Luo's lonely back view remained. He lifted his head slightly and gazed at the full moon outside the window. Under the moonlight, Ning Luo stood by the window in a white top, and a faint smile hung on his lips. However, tears of blood streaked across the rim of his eyes. The next morning, outside a mountain range in formidable Heaven's dynasty. In the forest on the mountains, a fine gentleman in white held a folding fan and was walking slowly. His eyes glanced behind him discreetly. Behind him, however, followed a big burly lady whose face could be said to be hideous. The man in white was extremely handsome, and a seeming smile could be seen on his face. The slightly curled corners of his lips added a devilish charm to his almost flawless face. On the other hand, the lady behind the beautiful man was in a floral dress and had a blindingly big red flower on her tit. They walked one after another, but the image was completely different. That exceptionally Herculean lady looked miserably at the beautiful teenager walking before her and instinctively wanted to stretch out her right hand to pluck the big red flower off from her head. Holy lady, this disguise. I'm afraid it's not too suitable. Who could have thought that the lady who was dressed so gorgeously would actually be a dignified elder from the Blood Moon sect? Don't move. The beautiful teenager stopped him. Yes. Helpless, the Blood Moon elder could only obey with tears in his eyes. Look, you're much prettier like this, Yi Qingtang said with a smile. Yi Qingtang was originally beautiful, and even with a male disguise on, she appeared less dainty and more handsome. If they were not in this deserted mountain range, one would not know how many young ladies would be enchanted by that attractive face that stirred hearts. Rather, it was the Blood Moon elder who was full of tears at that instant. To think his original body had a handsome appearance and outstanding bearing. Since seizing Zhou Chu's body, he was already a little uncomfortable with his appearance. Never would the Blood Moon elder have thought that the holy lady would actually dress him up as a woman, with Zhou Chu's face, which part of it looked like a woman. After the war in Xianling sect, Yi Qingtang was listed in the assassination roll, and the reward for her surpassed the number one person on the assassination roll by multiple times. If she did not disguise herself and was recognized, the consequences would be disastrous. Yunshao sect alone was already difficult to handle, much less those powerful figures who were prepared to assassinate Yi Qingtang to obtain the rewards. Holy lady, how about? I return to the wilderness. The Blood Moon elder inched closer to Yi Qingtang and was full of smiles to please her. However, the Blood Moon elder who was disguised as a lady was already ugly, and the smile on his face was simply an unbearable sight. What do you think? Yi Qingtang raised a brow slightly as she looked at the Blood Moon elder with a seeming smile. Holy lady, my current skills have just entered the early stage of martial chi level 2. It'll only hinder you if I follow beside you. The Blood Moon elder expressed his opinion. This time, the Blood Moon elder's words were reasonable. Yi Qingtang's martial cultivation had already entered the mid-stage of third heaven of martial chi level 2, and she possessed the ultimate origin skill. Even if she met someone who was at the peak of first heaven of martial chi level 3, she could put up some fight. With the Blood Moon elder following beside her, it was indeed a little hindering. It can't be that you're afraid and wish to leave me, can it? Yi Qingtang smiled. No. You must not put it that way, holy lady. It is my greatest honor to be able to follow beside you. The Blood Moon elder's expression changed, and he hurriedly explained. Since that's the case, then cut the crap. Yi Qingtang shot the Blood Moon elder a look. After signing the contract with her, this old fellow did not do anything good. He had always wanted to escape from her, though she caught him red-handed every time. It's naturally great to stay beside you. However, Is it possible to change my disguise? The Blood Moon Elder truly could not bear his current appearance. To think that he was also a top figure 1,000 years ago, there's no need. It's pretty good just like this. Yi Qingtang shook her head. All right. The Blood Moon Elder piled smiles on his face, but it seemed way uglier than crying. The two of them circled outside the mountain range for a long time but realized that quite a number of powerful figures from formidable Heaven's dynasty had already entered. Apart from the super sects Yunshao sect, Yuehua sect, and Lingyun sect, there were ordinary sects like Wind Moon sect and Qinglin sect, and even the main ruling formidable Heavens Royals. The formidable Heavens Royals was formed by various small and large nations. Although they were all called the formidable Heavens Royal family, the main ruling royals were above other nations and were the true overlords of formidable Heavens dynasty. Falling Sky Valley's people. Yi Qingtang's eyes were fixed ahead where a line of Falling Sky Valley disciples silently entered the mountain range. It's not simple. The Blood Moon Elder suddenly leaned close and had a serious expression. Holy Lady, almost the entire world knows that Xianling sect's mystic realm has become an ownerless mystic realm. That is a place of inheritance with a sect's heritage that goes as far as thousands of years. Once it becomes an ownerless mystic realm, it will definitely attract thousands of powerful figures. In my opinion, it's better if we don't go to this mystic realm. To all forces, mystic realms were extremely tempting. The mystic realm that originally belonged to Xianling sect became a gold mine without an owner because Xianling sect was trapped, and it was without doubt that all the forces would not let go of such a good opportunity. After hearing the Blood Moon Elder's words, Yi Qingtang was in deep thought. After Xianling sect was ruined, the mystic realm's array formation was broken and became an ownerless mystic realm, which had plenty of destinies and inheritance. Hence, those powerful figures naturally flooded in once they gained news of it. Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder disguised themselves exactly because they wanted to enter this ownerless mystic realm. Yi Qingtang had already speculated earlier on that there would definitely be people from the super sects who would enter the mystic realm but did not think that this many forces would appear. Apart from the righteous forces, Yi Qingtang even saw a number of forces from evil sections. Strange, Yi Qingtang's brows were furrowed slightly. Xianling sect was, after all, a small sect. Although a mystic realm owned solely by a sect had many inheritances and destinies, it was not to the extent to attract so many powerful figures such that even people from Falling Sky Valley did not hesitate to take the risk and enter formidable Heaven's dynasty. The risks and gains were simply disproportional. What exactly did they do it for? At that instant, a row of young people walked towards them from afar. The person in the lead was a stunningly beautiful young lady who appeared to be around 17 or 18 years old. Behind the lady followed several males who were all donned in luxurious clothes and had an impressive appearance. Every movement these people made exuded a frightening martial aura. All of them had at least entered martial chi level 3. 9 Knights Dynasty. Ouyang family's eldest daughter, Ouyang Qian. After seeing the leading girl, a cold glint flickered in Yi Qingtang's eyes. The Ouyang clan was the #1 family clan in 9 Knights Dynasty and was extremely influential. Ordinary family clans could not be compared to it, and even more than that, it was not weaker than super sects like Falling Sky Valley and Yunshao sect. In Yi Qingtang's previous life when she cultivated in Falling Sky Valley, she had crossed paths with the Ouyang family before. In Yi Qingtang's previous life when she just met Ouyang Qian, she did not find anything bad about her. Moreover, Ouyang Qian cared for her, giving her a sense of warmth despite having been chased for her life by everyone. In return, she treated Ouyang Qian as her best friend. But Yi Qingtang never expected that Ouyang Qian had already discovered her heart of the demon god from a long time ago, and all her kindness was merely feigned civility while she harbored evil intentions. Ouyang Qian drugged her eventually, and if not for her eldest senior brother who rushed over in time, Yi Qingtang would have definitely died without a doubt. Ouyang Qian, I never thought that we would meet again. The corners of Yi Qingtang's lips tugged up and formed into an evil smile. Seeing Yi Qingtang, a chill ran down the Blood Moon Elder's spine. Could it be that she wanted to do something again? Miss, This is only an ownerless mystic realm of a small sect. There's no need for us to risk rushing from the Nine Knights dynasty to the formidable Heavens dynasty, right? A male from the Ouyang family looked at Ouyang Qian in confusion. After hearing that, a sneer appeared on Ouyang Qian's petite face. There's originally no need, but I don't know who let out news that there is an infant fiend celestial beast in this mystic realm, and I saw Falling Sky Valley disciples here as well. The news definitely is not fake. Miss, I also know about this news, but a fiend celestial beast is reproduced from the ancient era and possesses both the bloodline of celestial beasts as well as fiend beasts. Moreover, it is said to be an infant. I think it is not very possible. That may not be true. There's no smoke without fire. If the Ouyang family can obtain the fiend celestial beast, the people from the Ouyang family had their own opinions over the matter of the fiend celestial beast. Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder exchanged a look, and a strange expression emerged in both their eyes. The supposed fiend celestial beast was merely a general term. It referred to the descendant of a fiend beast and a celestial beast from the ancient generation. Its bloodline was half celestial beast and half fiend beast, thus the name fiend celestial beast. People from older generations called it a slaughter weapon as its skills were extraordinary since birth. However, on this mainland where spirit energy was so thin, how would a fiend celestial beast exist and even appear in Xianling sect's mystic realm? Yi Qingtang was in deep thought. She had never heard of anyone who obtained a fiend celestial beast in her previous life. Holy Lady, there's actually a fiend celestial beast in this mystic realm? Why do I not believe it? The Blood Moon Elder looked at Yi Qingtang. Not mentioning the Blood Moon Elder, even Yi Qingtang did not believe it as well. Regardless of whether a fiend celestial beast exists in the mystic realm, I will still enter the mystic realm. Yi Qingtang mumbled as she committed herself to her goal for this trip. Whether or not this mystic realm really had a fiend celestial beast had nothing to do with Yi Qingtang. Her goal of entering the mystic realm was only to obtain the Black Heaven water. Look! Suddenly, a male from the Ouyang family pointed at the Blood Moon Elder not far away. After hearing that, everyone from the Ouyang family including Ouyang Qian looked at the Blood Moon Elder who was dressed gorgeously. The girls from this formidable Heavens dynasty are really ugly, that male from the Ouyang family said with a frown, clearly shocked by the Blood Moon Elder's face that was as fair as a flower. The fact there was actually such a hideous girl on this world completely shook up his outlooks. The Blood Moon Sect Elder. Then you are ugly. All your ancestors are ugly. The other people from the Ouyang family snickered as well. Even though they did not say anything further, the sarcasm and laughter in their eyes evidently expressed their feelings. Before long, the Ouyang family members looked away and walked into the mountain forest directly. Holy Lady, how about I change a disguise? The Blood Moon Elder looked at Yi Qingtang pleadingly. However, Yi Qingtang waved a hand casually and sized up the Blood Moon Elder's appearance with a smile in her eyes. A dignified Blood Moon Sect's elder has already surpassed ordinary humans. Why do you care about how other ordinary people view you? I think you are very pretty. Pretty? The Blood Moon Elder's lips twitched. Holy Lady, you can't be really blind, can you? How weird is your aesthetic judgment for you to praise that without any change in your expression? The Blood Moon Elder tried to calm his emotions and finally spoke seriously. Holy Lady, you seem to have some grudge with that lady just now. The Blood Moon Elder asked that because he realized that there was a cold glint in Yi Qingtang's eyes when she looked at that above-average-looking lady earlier on. Indeed. Yi Qingtang admitted. So do you want me? The Blood Moon Elder motioned, cutting his throat with his hand. Can you defeat her? Yi Qingtang looked at the Blood Moon Elder. The Blood Moon Elder's expression froze immediately, and he no longer uttered a single word. That lady was probably at martial chi level 3. Given his current skills, he would only be pressed on the floor and pounded should he meet someone at martial chi level 3. Let's go. Yi Qingtang waved a hand and brought the Blood Moon Elder into the mountain forest. The mountain forest was enshrouded in an extremely strange energy fluctuation such that one could even see the ripples undulating in the air with their naked eyes. After Shenling's sect protecting array formation was broken, the mystic realm eventually landed in this mountain forest. Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder had just entered the place, but furious scoldings and clashes of metal reverberated throughout. "Holy Lady, someone is in a fight," the Blood Moon Elder immediately said after hearing the sound. "I'm not deaf." Yi Qingtang swept the Blood Moon Elder a look and said rather indifferently. The Blood Moon Elder could only keep his mouth shut and not say another word of crap. Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder walked in the direction of the fighting sound and quickly realized that the source of the sound was from a large-scale battle between forces from the formidable Heavens Dynasty and the Nine Knights Dynasty. Before entering the Mystic Realm, both forces had already suffered heavy casualties from the battle. The two dynasties were originally eternal enemies, and there had been countless minor and major battles. This enmity had long sunk deep into the bones. As long as the forces from both dynasties met, they would definitely fight, and there would naturally be deaths. Apart from the battle between the super sects of the formidable Heavens Dynasty and Nine Knights Dynasty, internal conflicts rapidly erupted among various sects as well. Half a day later, the large-scale battle finally calmed down gradually until everyone got along in peace. Everyone was aware that without the restraint of the sect's heritage, the level of danger of the mystic realm would multiply by 10 times and more from before. The casualties were already so serious before they entered. Once the mental demons really started, how were they to contend for the fiend celestial beast within the mystic realm? The super sects from the two dynasties were not fools. After a long battle, they finally stopped. Eventually, the members of super sects from formidable Heavens Dynasty and Nine Knights Dynasty laid a rule to temporarily get along together in peace before entering the mystic realm and to drive away everyone else other than members of a sect who were only allowed to enter the mystic realm. Everyone found this mystic realm because of the news of a fiend celestial beast. The greater the number of people, the smaller the hope of obtaining it. As such, the forces from both dynasties finally cleared the place together. Apart from the sect forces, those family clans and itinerant cultivators were all chased away. Meanwhile, ordinary sects like Wind Moon Sect and Qinglin Sect that were weaker than super sects still reserved the right to enter the mystic realm. After all, this mystic realm no longer had an owner, and it had escaped the suppression of the sect's heritage. As for how dangerous it was, no one could be sure, so leaving a few small sects here would help them to have a grasp. Wind Moon Sect and Qinglin Sect were aware of those super sects' thoughts but did not care about it. Once they entered the mystic realm, everyone would try for all they are worth. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Perhaps, the fiend celestial beast would be obtained by them. If they could obtain the fiend celestial beast, small sects like Wind Moon Sect and Qinglin Sect could override super sects based on the combat ability of the fiend celestial beast. Although Yunshao Sect's sect protecting divine beast was extremely powerful and unparalleled, it paled in comparison with a fiend celestial beast. From afar, Yi Qingtang laughed coldly in her heart as she watched the sects conceive sinister motives. Those sects' forces were truly indulged in the wildest fantasy. Not mentioning whether a fiend celestial beast actually existed in the mystic realm, but if a fiend celestial beast truly existed, did these people really think they could tame it easily given its combat ability? They were simply making a fool out of themselves. At Yi Qingtang's peak in her past life, she was at the level of a paragon and could easily destroy a dynasty with thousands of years of inheritance with the flick of a finger. In her eyes, a Yin-Yang True Lord was like an ant, and even powerful figures above the Yin-Yang True Lord were required to give her a full bow and address her as Paragon Senior when they saw Yi Qingtang. Even so, Yi Qingtang still had to take a detour when she saw a fiend celestial beast at her peak, as there was no way she could enter a direct confrontation with it head-on. Yet, those super sects actually wishfully thought that they could tame a fiend celestial beast? It was simply a fantasy where the ignorant had no fears. You! At that instant, a Yunshao Sect inner sect disciple approached them speedily and sized up Yi Qingtang. Which sect are you from? Although Yi Qingtang was listed in the assassination roll and her reward greatly surpassed that of the number one person, the alluring teenage girl had transformed into a beautiful, young gentleman with a devilish charm after the disguise. As a result, the Yunshao sect disciple could not recognize her. "I'm not in a sect or a clan. Just an itinerant," Yi Qingtang said gently with a smile. "Leave. Otherwise you'll be killed." After hearing that Yi Qingtang was an itinerant cultivator, the Yunshao sect disciple shouted sternly. The place was already controlled by the forces of the two dynasties, and itinerant cultivators were not allowed to enter. Before the Blood Moon Elder could reprimand, Yi Qingtang stopped him and smiled to the Yunshao sect disciple. "Leave now." Afterward, she turned around and left with the Blood Moon Elder. "Holy Lady, why did you do that?" The Blood Moon Elder could not understand. They could perfectly barge in forcefully. Should they leave so sullenly just because the forces of both dynasties controlled the area? Yi Qingtang's lips curled into a sinister smile. This place is no longer suppressed by Xianling sect's heritage and is already uncontrollable. It's impossible for us to know how dangerous it is. Why not let those super sects explore and find a path for us then? By doing this, the risks would be greatly reduced. After hearing Yi Qingtang, the Blood Moon Elder's eyes flickered as he applauded and praised. "Ingenious. It's really ingenious. Holy Lady, that's truly a wise move." The super sects forces of both dynasties treated ordinary sects as their cannon fodder and wanted to make the ordinary sects explore for them. On the other hand, Yi Qingtang was calculating to let the super sects help her and have the Blood Moon Elder find a path. After they entered the mystic realm and overcome the dangers, we will follow in at the end and reap the profits without doing anything. Isn't that better? Yi Qingtang smiled. Holy Lattice words are more enlightening than studying for 1,000 years. It is the honor of 3 lives to be able to follow beside you, Holy Lady. Flattery filled the Blood Moon Elder's face. Yi Qingtang looked at his sucking up skills from a whole new light. It was not about how his face changed so quickly but instead about how Yi Qingtang's identity which directly weighed on him. A holy lady personally handpicked by the Holy Lord versus an elder. No matter how bold he was, he no longer dared to be disrespectful to Yi Qingtang. Otherwise, should Yi Qingtang complain to the Holy Lord, he probably would not even know how he died. Just based on this sentence from you, I've decided to bestow you a big present after entering the mystic realm. As Yi Qingtang looked at the Blood Moon Elder who was increasingly full of flattery, cunningness filled her eyes. The Blood Moon Elder did not realize the cunning look in Yi Qingtang's eyes and was instead full of bliss. He was extremely expectant as he wondered what the so-called big present that the Holy Lady said would be. It had been 3 entire days in this deep forest, and the forces from both Formidable Heavens Dynasty and 9 Nights Dynasty lived together in harmony. The battles between small sects were forbidden as well. The danger of the mystic realm was unpredictable, and the super sects still relied on those ordinary sects to be their cannon fodder and find out how dangerous it is for them. The super sects of both dynasties did not wish to see the small sects suffer heavy casualties because of their conflicts before even entering the mystic realm. Meanwhile, for 3 whole days Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder hid in a dark corner of the forest and concealed their breaths, deliberately restraining their aura. After all, the Blood Moon Elder was an elder of the Blood Moon sect, and Yi Qingtang was once a noble paragon in her previous life. Thus, concealing their breaths was very easy to do. Over the 3 days, Yi Qingtang secretly inspected the situation. Yunshao sect had deployed a large number of core disciples. Apart from Yi Yu, there were a number of people whose martial aura was not any weaker than Yi Yu's. As for Falling Sky Valley, there were many disciples including Jishuan and Mo Changkong. From all these forces, Yi Qingtang saw many familiar faces from her past life. Apart from close friends and fellow disciples from her past lifetime, there were also quite a handful of archenemies such as Ouyang Qian. On the dawn of the 4th day, a dazzling purple ray slowly emerged and condensed into an illusory screen. As that illusory screen appeared, everyone from both Formidable Heavens Dynasty and 9 Nights Dynasty was instantly energized. The mystic realm has started. Everyone enter it quickly. A powerful figure from Yuehua sect shouted. That reminder caused the expression in everyone's eyes to change immediately. Swoosh! Almost at the same time, Everyone rapidly turned into shadows and strived to be the first to enter that illusory screen. This illusory screen was actually a door of transmission that was connected to the mystic realm. After entering the screen, one would have entered the mystic realm. All the forces from the two dynasties finally entered the mystic realm only after an hour later. At that instant, the Blood Moon Elder poked his head out and scanned ahead. There were still 2 disciples from Yunshao sect, Wind Moon sect, and Qinglin sect guarding outside the screen. To prevent those itinerant and family clan cultivators to take advantage of the opportunity to enter once everyone had entered, the sects thus left some disciples behind to guard the place. Currently, there were a few sect disciples guarding the entrance of the mystic realm. 2 of them had already entered the first heaven of martial chi level 3, while the remaining disciples were inner sect disciples from Wind Moon sect and Qinglin sect. "Holy Lady, we should enter already," the Blood Moon Elder said. After hearing him, Yi Qingtang smiled faintly. "There's no hurry." The powerful figures of both Formidable Heavens Dynasty and Nine Nights Dynasty had just entered the mystic realm, and if Yi Qingtang entered right now, she would only meet them coincidentally, and it would be difficult to get away then. This wait lasted 2 days. The disciples from Yunshao sect, Qinglin sect, and Wind Moon sect were considerably loyal as they guarded at their posts at all times without slacking off. Early dawn, Yi Qingtang shot the Blood Moon Elder a look and slowly walked out from the hidden corner with the Blood Moon Elder. They appeared before everyone and walked towards the entrance of the mystic realm. At that moment, the sect disciples guarding at the area saw an extraordinarily handsome young sir with an extremely hideous-looking woman in a floral dress who had a big red flower on her head. "Stop there!" A young disciple from Wind Moon sect immediately stepped forward and shouted. "Who's there?" A faint smile hung on Yi Qingtang's lips as she replied softly. "An itinerant cultivator." Afterward, she pointed to the Blood Moon Elder behind and said, "While this beautiful lady is my servant." Beautiful? After hearing Yi Qingtang's words, the disciples, including both Yunshao sect disciples, almost vomited. This male had such an outstanding appearance, yet no one dared to compliment his aesthetic judgment. Could his eyes be blind? The servant behind him is frighteningly scary, yet he called her beautiful. Looking at the reaction of those sect disciples, the Blood Moon Elder wanted to say something but was ultimately unable to utter a single word. "This place is already sealed. Foreign people are not allowed to enter. Leave this place or you'll be killed," a Yunshao sect disciple said coldly with an imposing stance. "Does this road belong to your family? Can a sect be so arrogant?" Yi Qingtang smiled. "Then try taking a step forward." The Yunshao sect disciple remained silent as he sized up Yi Qingtang and scoffed. Then Yi Qingtang exchanged a look with the Blood Moon Elder. Subsequently, with smiles on her face, her legs moved, and she indeed took a step forward. At that moment, the faces of all the sect's disciples darkened. This person's action is clearly challenging a sect's authority. "You have a death wish," a Yunshao sect disciple hollered furiously. He raised his right arm in the air and smashed a hand towards Yi Qingtang. Immediately, the aura of a first heaven of martial chi level 3 filled the air as a strong wind stirred up from the force of his smash. Sensing the frightening aura of the Yunshao sect inner sect disciple, the expressions of the Wind Moon sect and Qinglin sect disciples changed, and horror filled their faces. Martial chi level 3 was already listed as a powerful figure in the martial Tao, and they could easily crush anyone with just one finger. The two sects' disciples could not help but shake their heads. The moment that itinerant cultivator who did not belong to any sects or clans took that step forward and challenged the sect's authority, he was already a dead man. "You have a death wish." Seeing that the Yunshao sect disciple stroke, a cold glint flashed across Yi Qingtang's eyes. At the same time, a blood-colored sword shadow streaked across the sky with a clank. As Yi Qingtang's demonic blood sword was unsheathed, the two Yunshao sect disciples were slaughtered in an instant and died on the spot. "Holy Lady is indeed powerful. I admire you extremely. Being able to follow beside you is truly my blessing." The Blood Moon Elder was stopped by Yi Qingtang before he even finished bootlicking. All he had been saying were these few sentences for the past few days, and Yi Qingtang's ears were about to rot. She was only this close to stuffing a piece of cloth in his mouth. The immediate deaths of the two Yunshao sect disciples caught the Wind Moon sect and Qinglin sect disciples off guard. At that instant, the disciples from two sects were completely dumbfounded as they looked at Yi Qingtang with eyes popped wide open. Their minds were blank as though they had completely lost the ability to think. The two who died were both Yunshao sect disciples who had entered martial qi level 3 a long time ago and were very powerful. However, an itinerant cultivator who came from nowhere slaughtered both of them with just one slash. Given Yi Qingtang's current skills, when she used all her cards, there was no worry as long as she did not encounter anyone at second heaven of martial qi level 3. Currently, ordinary first heaven of martial qi level 3 cultivators were not worth a mention to Yi Qingtang. Have you seen enough? Yi Qingtang's eyes swept across the dumbfounded Wind Moon sect and Qinglin sect disciples as she spoke with a seeming smile. Her slightly curled lips added a devilish charm to her attractive face. Mercy! With just a glimpse from Yi Qingtang, the sect's disciples felt a chill in their bones as though their entire body had fallen into an icehouse. Powerful first heaven of martial qi level 3 cultivators were killed by this nameless itinerant cultivator with one slash. In their eyes, how different were ordinary disciples like them from ants. Strip your clothes, Yi Qingtang said coldly and looked at those sect's disciples with a slightly lifted chin. The disciples were dumbfounded for a few seconds. Right after, horror filled their faces as they looked at Yi Qingtang in disbelief. Strip our clothes? Could this person be homosexual? Even the Blood Moon Elder could not help but dart a look at Yi Qingtang. Isn't this a little? He really did not think that his holy lady would actually be so thirsty. Stripping 2 sets is enough. Faster! Yi Qingtang gradually lost her patience, and her brows were slightly furrowed. However, this frown sent a chill down the spines of those sect's disciples. The disciples exchanged a look, and one of them pointed to another. You'll strip. Don't you like men? You'll strip. The disciple who was being pointed at was ashamed and resentful. He looked up at Yi Qingtang's incomparably handsome face, and the indignant expression on his face turned into a thought-provoking shyness. Yi Qingtang looked at him blankly. She merely wanted the clothes of the disciples so that it would be easier to pass off as other sects' disciples when she entered the mystic realm. Could it be that these two sects' disciples thought wrongly and mistook that she, sometime later, Yi Qingtang finally obtained the clothes of the disciples? After wearing it, she leaped into the screen with the Blood Moon Elder, leaving those disarrayed disciples from the two sects behind. There was a space realm in the screen, and the interior was like a mysterious tunnel representing the very intersection of time and space. One would not be able to feel the passing of time, much less the undulation in the space. No one knew exactly how much time had passed. Each moment was like the blink of an eye, yet also resembling centuries. Once Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder returned to their senses, both of them were already at a certain small city in the mystic realm. It was already night. A blood-colored crescent hung on the sky. Its gleam shone through the clouds and completely enshrouded the entire city. There was a slight smell of blood lingering around as though it had long been combined with the air. Two extremely strange and ghastly buildings were situated at both sides of the city while an enormous central square laid right ahead. Many sculptures stood in the square silently. One of the sculptures was made with an unknown material, but its form and appearance were very solemn and righteous, resembling a Buddha that seemed to be able to suppress all evil in the world. Reaching a height of about 10 meters tall, that sculpture with a Buddha face was lifelike and raised a huge vajra in its hands. Find authorized novels in Webnovel Faster Updates. Better experience, please click for visiting. However, the skull of an elderly was hung on that vajra, and the neck that was slit was filled with dried blood. The elderly's mouth was wide open, and horror filled his turbid eyes. It was as though he had witnessed the frightening birth of something that should not exist. That person seems to be an elder of Lingyun sect. The Blood Moon Elder frowned as he inspected for a long time before speaking to Yi Qingtang. Previously, Yi Qingtang had already seen the appearance of Yuehua sect and Lingyun sect, and it was indeed an elder of a super sect whose martial skills were at least above the second heaven of martial chi level 3. This person's skills are not bad, but he actually died here. Other than his head, his body is nowhere to be found. An inauspicious feeling arose in the Blood Moon Elder's heart. Every corner of this city felt strange, and it felt like one could see but not physically touch anything here. It's actually... Yi Qingtang's body shuddered slightly, and surprise emerged in her eyes. Hell of Avicinaraka realm. Hell of Avicinaraka realm. The Blood Moon Elder looked at Yi Qingtang in puzzlement. It said that Xianling Sect's mystic realm was a miniature version of a battlefield in the ancient era in a spiritual abode. It was then brought back by the then Xianling Patriarch, who suppressed it with a paragon divine treasure. After thousands of years of suppression, the demonic air was released and developed into many huge mystic realms. There was a hint of seriousness on Yi Qingtang's face as she explained. In the past, the mystic realms that Xianling sect started were ordinary mystic realms, and the danger levels to normal sect disciples was at most only level 4 if the maximum level was 100. The ordinary mystic realms would not exceed danger level 5. Seeming to hear the meaning between Yi Qingtang's words, the Blood Moon Elder slowly said, "So this mystic realm is 100 level peril? Hell of Avicinaraka." In the dark night, a gust of eerie wind blew across, sending a chill down the spines of Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder at the same time. If Yi Qingtang knew that the mystic realm without the suppression of the sect's heritage would actually become 100 level peril hell of Avicinaraka, she would definitely not enter. Even if it meant giving up the Black Heaven water, Yi Qingtang would never take the risk to enter here. The so-called 100 level peril was the scariest and most dangerous place in a sect mystic realm. For a normal danger level 5 mystic realm, if 10 Xianling sect disciples entered, at least 3 or 4 people would die in it. It was already extremely difficult for 2 to 3 people to walk out alive from a mystic realm that surpassed danger level 6. If one was unlucky enough to enter a danger level 10 mystic realm, he or she did not need to struggle and only needed to wait for death. Yet currently, the Hell of Avicinaraka belonged to 100 level peril mystic realm. Even if you were a son of heaven, you would eventually turn into ashes and sink in here eternally. Although ordinary sects could not be compared to the super sects of Formidable Heaven's dynasty and Nine Knights dynasty, it would be difficult if they wished to leave this place alive after entering this 100 level peril hell. This time, no one knew how many people could leave the Hell of Avicinaraka alive. In Yi Qingtang's case, she had already entered the third heaven of martial chi level 2 and possessed the ultimate origin skill. Her combat skill was similar to that of a disciple at the peak of the first heaven of martial chi level 3. Yet despite so, she did not dare to say that she could leave this place alive. "I've heard some things about that Xianling Patriarch." The Blood Moon Elder continued on. 2,000 years ago, the Xianling Patriarch trained all over the world and rescued a powerful figure who was heavily injured. Afterward, he brought that powerful figure back to his residence to treat her. However, that powerful figure's body was already extremely dilapidated, and she only had half a heart left. In the end, she died miserably. However, after that powerful figure died, her body turned into a crystal. After another 1,000 years, the Xianling Patriarch founded Xianling sect and suppressed that crystal within the sect, and that crystal morphed into a small world, which is the mystic realm that we are in. Yi Qingtang did not refute him. Once a cultivator was powerful enough and reached a certain level, a spiritual abode would form in his or her body. Every spiritual abode was unique. In their lifetimes, those powerful figures would store the treasures they obtained in the spiritual abode in their bodies. After those powerful figures died, the spiritual abodes, however, would not be destroyed. Some of them became mystic realms while others became a dangerous land which was listed as forbidden ground. On the other hand, some spiritual abodes turned into blessed grotto heavens with countless destinies. Although the powerful figure that the Xianling Patriarch rescued back then ultimately died, her spiritual abode was not destroyed and turned into a crystal, which was the current Xianling sect mystic realm. In Yi Qingtang's previous life, a spiritual abode was also formed in her body when she was at her peak. Most of the powerful figures with spiritual abodes in their bodies would destroy the spiritual abodes if they died a natural death, unwilling to leave their own heritage to be inherited by the future generations. Only those powerful figures who died tragically due to an unexpected calamity did not have time to destroy the spiritual abode in their bodies before their death. Thus, there were numerous accounts of the appearance of a powerful figure's inheritance in this world. At this instant, Yi Qingtang was walking to the central square in great strides. The closer she got, the more intense the smell of blood became. However, Yi Qingtang's brows were tightly furrowed as she scanned the surroundings. Apart from the skull of the Lingyun sect elder hung on the sculpture's sword, no other corpses could be seen. Holy Lady, I can smell that many people died here not long ago. Even the smell of blood is fresh. It's not more than a day, the Blood Moon Elder said. Not more than a day. Yi Qingtang's expression was increasingly heavy. This place was extremely strange. All of the corpses of those who died had disappeared. Even if they were slaughtered or swallowed by evil spirits, there should still be some flesh and traces left behind. But observing the area, apart from the skull of a super sex elder, nothing else could be seen. What exactly happened? Yi Qingtang's heart was extremely uneasy. It was a pity that it was already difficult to regret and leave after entering the mystic realm. If there was a chance to leave this place now, Yi Qingtang would definitely not hesitate at all and leave instantly. Holy Lady, what should we do now? The Blood Moon Elder was anxious as well. The Blood Sect Elder had entered quite a number of mystic realms before but had never heard of Xianling Sect's 100-level peril hell of Avicinaraka. In addition, his skills were also insufficient, and he had no solutions to speak of. Yi Qingtang was also unclear of what they should do now. The development of events had surpassed her predictions by a far lot and was headed towards an uncontrollable stage. Currently, Yi Qingtang hoped for neither destinies nor the Black Heaven water. She only hoped to be able to protect her own life. We'll take one step at a time. Once a mystic realm starts, it will sustain for about half a month. As long as we can bear through half a month, we can leave, Yi Qingtang said. Since that's the case. The Blood Moon Elder scanned the strange buildings and their surroundings and said, Holy Lady, let's just find a random house in this city and live in it. It's only half a month. It will pass in the blink of an eye. Yi Qingtang pinched her glabella upon hearing him. Why did such an idiot appear by her side? This was a 100-level peril mystic realm. How could one be able to survive just by hiding? If they really did what the Blood Moon Elder said, both of them would probably not live more than half a month. After seeing Yi Qingtang's unfathomable expression, the Blood Moon Elder was just about to defend himself, but strange noises sounded from the central square. From what they saw, the strange sounds came from the solemn Buddha statue. As Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder took a close look, that Buddha statue suddenly opened a pair of angry eyes. Right on the heels of that, a creepy sight appeared. The Buddha statue moved its vajra, and in the next second, the skull of that Lingyun sect elder was in its hands. It glared at the skull furiously for a few seconds and subsequently tossed that skull into its mouth without any hesitation, slowly chewing it. Luckily, the people who experienced this were Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder. One of them was a mighty paragon in her past life while the other was an elder of the evil Blood Moon sect. If it were others, they would have been so horrified to the point that their souls left their bodies or that they could even spit out their gallbladder. The freakish chewing sound was mixed with the sound of crushed bones. Stale blood slowly seeped out of the Buddha statue's mouth in the next second. The pair of enraged eyes suddenly looked towards Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder. Roar! A horrifying roar exploded from its mouth. Yi Qingtang could even faintly see the minced flesh and hair between the gaps of the Buddha statue's teeth. Yi Qingtang gasped immediately. Run! Yi Qingtang fled without saying any other nonsense. The Buddha statue exuded a strange air which was extremely frightening. If she fought, it was without a doubt that she would die. Find authorized novels in Webnovel Faster Updates. Better experience, please click for visiting. Holy Lady, what's so scary about this? It's just an evil creature. In my peak thousands of years ago, evil creatures like this did not dare to be so impudent before me. Pride filled the Blood Moon Elder's face. He just spoke but realized that Yi Qingtang had already escaped without a trace. Roar! Instantly, the Buddha statue's furious eyes landed on the Blood Moon Elder. Holy Lady! Wait for me, Holy Lady! After being sized up by the Buddha statue, the Blood Moon Elder fled without uttering any more crap. Although he did not lie, that was 1,000 years ago after all. Currently, it was still more dependable to be more realistic. However, the sinister laughter of the Buddha statue reverberated throughout the entire small city like a demonic voice that was impossible to get rid of. Every nook and cranny seemed to have that terrifying sinister laughter that caused one's scalp to tingle. Chapter 573 Hell of Avicinaraka 4. Seeing the two people escape, the Buddha statue finally moved its legs. Boom, 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 boom. The entire city rocked with every step the Buddha statue took as it chased after Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder. Those tall, strange buildings crumbled into nothingness in succession under the heartless trampling of the Buddha statue. Shattering sounds rang repeatedly. At that moment, Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder had already fled to thousands of meters away. However, that Buddha statue was very fast as well. In just a while, the distance between it and Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder was already less than 100 meters. The sinister laughs behind caused one's blood to run cold. An extremely intense smell of death filled this small city that was enshrouded by the blood-colored moonlight. Even Yi Qingtang was completely drenched in cold sweat. The Buddha statue at the back was already probably consumed with desire. Perhaps, the monsters produced in this hell of Avicinaraka devoured any living things. At this moment, the Vajra in the Buddha statue's hand was thrown at Yi Qingtang. Swoosh! A piercing sound resounded throughout the entire place. The Vajra was extremely fast and had a powerful force. Yi Qingtang's brows were tightly furrowed as she felt the evil force surging towards her like a flood from a burst dam. Holy Lady! Careful! The Blood Moon Elder shouted, alarmed. Immediately, Yi Qingtang unsheathed the demonic blood sword without thinking. All the Blood Moon Elder saw was the demonic blood sword in Yi Qingtang's hand slashing at the huge Vajra. Boom! There was a deafening rumble. The demonic blood sword and the Vajra clashed for a second and separated. Yi Qingtang's complexion paled from that one clash, and the qi and blood in her body surged. She retreated back multiple steps. Thankfully, the Blood Moon Elder's eyes and hands were quick, and he caught Yi Qingtang, which finally steadied her body. Yi Qingtang's eyes were cold while the arm that wielded the sword trembled slightly. Fresh blood dripped down from where she held the sword. Holy Lady, you're injured. The Blood Moon Elder was rather frantic to see Yi Qingtang's injury. After all, this mystic realm was of 100-level peril. Not mentioning Yi Qingtang, even the powerful elder of Lingyun sect died, having his skull completely consumed by that Buddha statue. Seeing that Yi Qingtang was injured, the Buddha statue's angry eyes landed on her as the statue let out an extremely sinister laugh. The Buddha statue's right arm slowly reached into its chest and took out another head. That is, Yi Qingtang was appalled. Li Chenfeng! The Blood Moon Elder yelled in fear. Didn't the head that the Buddha statue held onto right now belong to the youngest internal affairs elder of Yunshao sect, Li Chenfeng? The pair of furious eyes met with Yi Qingtang's eyes. The Buddha statue slowly placed Li Chenfeng's skull into its mouth and gently chewed on it. Strange sounds could be heard as fresh blood and minced flesh flowed out of its lips. Run! Suddenly awoken, Yi Qingtang grabbed the Blood Moon Elder who was still rooted to the ground, dumbstruck, and fled out of the city. The scariness of that Buddha statue was already beyond logical. So powerful was it that it raised one's hackles. Every corner of this blood-colored city was creepy and ghastly. The acrid smell of blood in the air intensified gradually. Yi Qingtang brought the Blood Moon Elder and rapidly fled to a corner of a street. There was absolutely no life in the blood-colored city. The air of death lingered at every inch of the place as though the tragic torture of the underworld once existed, and it seemed as if everyone was dyed with blood and as if resentment filled the sky. While this was a land of evil spirits, even the Blood Moon Elder was unwilling to stay any longer. Yi Qingtang scanned the surroundings with a deep frown. Without a doubt, the place was a completely dead city with no presence of life and only an utter coldness. The hell of Avicinaraka here was said to simulate the ancient battlefield back then. Tens of thousands of years ago, the fourth domain still existed in this world. However, that mysterious fourth domain disappeared in a night. The fourth domain included hundreds of mainlands without any living beings. There were once rumors that perfected immortals and Buddhas appeared on the vanished fourth domain before. Their teachings once disseminated to every corner of the world. But as the fourth domain mysteriously disappeared, all the legends regarding immortals and Buddhas subsequently vanished like smoke in the air as well. Could there really be immortals and Buddhas in this world? Yi Qingtang was shaken. After hearing Yi Qingtang, the Blood Moon Elder was in deep thought. My holy lord once brought back a piece of an ancient stone tablet which was said to be left behind by the powerful figure whom the Xianling patriarchs saved back then. The contents on the stone tablet are a little similar to the scene today where the Buddha consumed people alive and chewed on flesh. Could it be that the person whom the Xianling patriarchs saved back then knows about the secret of the fourth domain that disappeared years ago? She ultimately sealed everything she saw and heard in her own spiritual abode. After that powerful figure died, the spiritual abode turned into a mystic realm while everything she sealed back then became the hell of Avicinaraka today. Yi Qingtang said, "Holy lady, I think there is a high possibility for that. When a spiritual abode becomes a mystic realm or a dangerous land, most of them were related to the things they heard and saw or their obsession and resentment. The spiritual abode of those with deep resentment would turn into a dangerous land while the spiritual abode of loyal and righteous people would turn into a blessed grotto heaven to benefit others. On the other hand, when some powerful figures died, their spiritual abodes would turn into the scene that they once imagined during their lifetime, just like this hell of Avicinaraka." The Blood Moon Elder seemed to be in thought. Speaking in another way, the powerful figure whom the Xianling patriarch rescued should know some secrets behind the disappearance of the fourth domain and stored whatever she saw and thought in her spiritual abode. When that powerful figure died, the spiritual abode turned into a mystic realm which was the 100-level peril hell of Avicinaraka. True gods indeed existed in this world. Everyone knew that the supposed perfected immortals and ancient Buddhas only appeared in the fourth domain that mysteriously disappeared tens of thousands of years ago. Hence, Yi Qingtang was certain that the evil monsters and demonic spirits here should be what that dead powerful figure saw and heard in the fourth domain. So, perfected immortals and ancient Buddhas were not only legends and truly existed tens of thousands of years ago. But why is it that all of them have completely vanished today despite being so powerful? How did that mysterious and powerful fourth domain disappear? It said that the ancient Buddhas and perfected immortals were extraordinary existences and that their teachings delivered all living creatures from suffering and was full of compassion. However, in this hell of Avicinaraka, the Buddha became a monster that consumed living things. What exactly? Yi Qingtang mumbled as puzzlement filled her eyes. Chapter 575 Immortals and Buddhas. 2. After becoming a paragon in her previous life, she had heard myths about the ancient era of which immortals and Buddhas once appeared. Perfected immortals and ancient Buddhas existed in that mysterious fourth domain which had completely disappeared now. Thus, many did not know what immortals and Buddhas were. Yi Qingtang was extremely curious about what exactly happened to the mysterious fourth domain that caused billions of life to be exterminated and immortals and Buddhas to perish. Until now, the fourth domain did not exist. Yi Qingtang had an extremely deep interest in the fourth domain since her previous life, and she had even studied the disappearance of the perfected immortals and ancient Buddhas for a period of time. It was, however, that people were chasing after her life, and she did not have many chances to study it deeply. Thus, she achieved nothing. Roar! Suddenly, a roar resembling that of a fierce beast pulled Yi Qingtang back to reality. The Buddha statue was already near them. Like a towering giant, it walked in the blood-colored city in search of Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder. Then, Yi Qingtang brought the Blood Moon Elder into a slightly more ordinary house without any hesitation. The most pressing matter of the moment was to avoid being killed by the Buddha statue. Given Yi Qingtang's and the Blood Moon Elder's skills, There was no way they could be compared to that Buddha statue that had sunk into the demonic path. As long as they fought with the Buddha statue, there was no chance of winning, and both of them had to be prepared to be swallowed anytime. After they hid in the house, the Buddha statue's sinister laughter finally receded. There was a deep well outside the courtyard, but it had long dried. There were many withered plants in their surroundings. Taking a close look, it was an extremely rundown house. It's truly mysterious. Curiosity was etched on the Blood Moon Elder's face. Something unimaginable seemed to have happened to the fourth domain on the night it disappeared. It's as though the perfected Immortals and ancient Buddhas had once entered a tragic battle with some unknown entities. Is that possible? Yi Qingtang shook her head in disagreement to the Blood Moon Elder's words. The perfected Immortals and ancient Buddhas never aged nor died, and they had the same longevity as the world. They had long turned into a part of the laws of powers. As long as the universe was not destroyed, the perfected Immortals and ancient Buddhas would not die. Presently, the powerful figures at the Emperor level were invincible and unrivaled. Even the owner of the heart of the demon god in her body, the demon god, had to bow in respect when he met the ancient Buddhas and perfected Immortals. That level had long surpassed secularity and turned into a part of Tao. How could demon god, fiend honor, and human emperor be compared to them? But such a powerful fourth domain, including those Immortals and Buddhas who once discussed Tao with saints and stood shoulder to shoulder with the heaven, perished just like that. Yi Qingtang felt that she was too weak. Even if she reached the paragon level in her previous life, she did not have the qualifications to peer into the secrets of the fourth domain and much less figure out the reason behind the fall of the Immortals and Buddhas. Currently, Yi Qingtang increasingly thought that this world was perhaps not like what she imagined or saw. Living in this mainland was forever like living at the bottom of the well. Everything she could see or touch was merely the tip of the iceberg. Those secrets of the mythical era were innumerable, and each of them was like a treasure that attracted many to continuously explore. Yi Qingtang quietly swore to herself that one day when she was powerful enough to see the truth of this world, she would find out the reason behind the disappearance of the fourth domain and the fall of those Immortals and Buddhas. The night was silent. The blood moon hanging in the dark sky was increasingly blinding. The sinister laughter of the Buddha statue had completely faded away and was nowhere near them. It was at that moment when Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder finally sighed in relief. "Holy Lady, look!" Suddenly, the Blood Moon Elder pointed at the deep well not far away. Yi Qingtang looked in the direction that the Blood Moon Elder was pointing at, and surprise emerged in her eyes. There was faint energy turbulence of an array formation from the pitch-dark well. Yi Qingtang walked towards the well. After a while, Yi Qingtang stood beside the well with a slight frown. The well had already dried, but there was a simple black box at the bottom of it. This well is protected by an array formation. Could it be that it's to protect this small box? Yi Qingtang was in thought. Once a spiritual abode was formed in the bodies of supreme figures, it was similar to an independent interspatial world, and a space ring was no longer needed. All the treasures obtained during their lifetime would be stored in the spiritual abode. Once the extremely powerful figures died and their spiritual abode turned into a mystic realm, their treasures would be stranded in the mystic realm and become a certain destiny. This small black box should be one of the treasures stored in the spiritual abode of that supreme figure. Delight emerged in Yi Qingtang's eyes. Yi Qingtang initially wanted to enter the well and retrieve the small box, but before she could get close to it, the power of the array formation caused her to retreat backward. Can this array formation be broken? Yi Qingtang looked at the Blood Moon Elder. Then, the Blood Moon Elder walked forward and inspected the well for a moment before nodding finally. "Holy Lady, this array formation has already lost most of its powers. It is not difficult to break, but it would require some time." "I'll leave it to you then." Yi Qingtang nodded. Without saying anything else, the Blood Moon Elder immediately started to break the array formation. After an hour later, the array formation protecting the deep well was finally broken by the Blood Moon Elder. As the array formation disappeared, Yi Qingtang swiftly retrieved the small box from the deep well. After opening the small box, she realized that it was an old talisman. "What is this?" Yi Qingtang inspected it closely yet could not recognize it. The Blood Moon Elder inched forward as well. After looking at it, he shook his head and said, "This item does not seem like something produced from this era. The image on the talisman is extremely mysterious. It could be an array formation in a talisman, or it could be something else." Yi Qingtang was rather speechless. When did she require the Blood Moon Elder's reminder? But regardless of what this was, what was sealed in the talisman was definitely a consumable product that could only be used once. Yi Qingtang would absolutely not brashly use it just to test what item it was. Placing the talisman back into the small box, Yi Qingtang brought the Blood Moon Elder away. There were countless other similar houses in the blood-colored city. After gaining an item, Yi Qingtang naturally would not leave easily and searched the other houses for some time. However, Yi Qingtang no longer saw any treasures protected by array formations this time. Such was a mystic realm. Everything was dependent on destinies, and not every house would have treasures sealed in the spiritual abode. Chapter 577 Danger 1. After searching a few houses and not finding anything, Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder waited until dawn and left. There was not much difference between the day and night in the small city. The blood-colored glint still enshrouded over the city irrespective of the time. Throughout their journey, Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder were extremely cautious and were on their guard, deeply afraid that they would encounter that frightening Buddha statue again. About an hour later, the two people finally stopped outside the city gates. The human-consuming Buddha statue was right in the center of the city gates where they had to pass through. However, it had already turned into a statue. The Blood Moon Elder looked at Yi Qingtang rather uneasily. Both of them had already witnessed the skills of that Buddha statue. Once it discovered them, it would be difficult for them to escape again. Seeing that Yi Qingtang did not say anything, the Blood Moon Elder spoke. "Holy Lady, how about we take another route? Otherwise, if we alarm that evil creature, I'm afraid we will not have it easy." However, Yi Qingtang shook her head. There was only this one exit to this blood-colored city. If they did not pass through here, she would still not be able to fly out of this city even if she used her feather formation technique. There were unknown laws of powers in this city which somehow restricted the ability for cultivators to be high up in the sky, and cultivators forced into the mystic realm could only travel by feet. There was indeed a high risk in exiting the city. As the Blood Moon Elder said, if they alarmed the Buddha statue, the consequences would be dire. However, if they remained there were too many variables, and the dark night, especially, was extremely scary. Yi Qingtang did not dare to think whether even more frightening creatures would appear. At present, the two of them only had one route, which was to take a risk and leave the city. The risks were extremely high in the blood-colored city, and they could lose their lives in here anytime. Instead of that, why not risk their lives and take a chance? Go! Yi Qingtang looked at the Blood Moon Elder and walked forward in great strides right after. Seeing that Yi Qingtang was so decisive, the Blood Moon Elder could only pull a long face and follow behind Yi Qingtang. When both of them passed by the Buddha statue, they deliberately slowed their breathing and walked lightly, afraid that a slight rough action would awaken the Buddha statue. They were still 10 meters away from the border of the city. Sleep longer. You must not wake up at this time. The Blood Moon Elder's eyes never left the Buddha statue. At this instant, they were only less than 5 meters away from the border of the city. Yi Qingtang held her breath. Every step was like eons. 3 meters. 2 meters. 1 meter. Seeing the mountain valley outside the town, Yi Qingtang finally heaved a sigh in relief. "Holy Lady, this Buddha is looking at us." Suddenly, the Blood Moon Elder shouted in surprise. After hearing the Blood Moon Elder, Yi Qingtang instinctively looked behind her. However, this action caused her to directly meet the eyes of the Buddha statue. The eyeballs of the Buddha statue slowly turned. A hint of banter emerged in that pair of angry eyes. Immediately, the Buddha statue let out a burst of sinister laughter that struck terror in hearts. In the next second, the Buddha statue raised the Vajra in its hands and fiercely smashed it towards the two people. "Run!" Yi Qingtang's expression changed. Without thinking, Yi Qingtang grabbed the Blood Moon Elder almost instinctively and sprinted out of the city. Boom. The Vajra caused the ground where both of them were standing at previously to be smashed into pieces. Even though they were only 1 meter away, they almost lost their lives. Chapter 578, Danger 2, Roar. Standing at the boundary of the city gates, the Buddha statue glared at Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder as a terrifying roar erupted from its mouth. The Blood Moon Elder looked at the roaring Buddha statue in the city and was in a slight daze. This demonic creature seems to be unable to leave the small city. Yi Qingtang turned over to take a look as well. This small city seemed to have a certain barrier that did not allow demonic creatures within the city to leave. It seems like it. Yi Qingtang spoke. Haha. All of a sudden, the Blood Moon Elder laughed loudly and pointed at the Buddha statue at the boundary of the city gates. You must thank your own luck. If not for the fact that my skills are not at when I was at my peak back then, I would have long crushed you into pieces with a punch. After he gained knowledge that the Buddha statue was unable to leave the small city, arrogance filled the Blood Moon Elder's face as though he was the unparalleled ruler of the world who looked down upon everyone with haughtiness. Do you need me to send you in and tell it that? Yi Qingtang looked away from the Buddha statue and at the Blood Moon Elder. After he heard Yi Qingtang, the Blood Moon Elder's expression changed immediately. If he was kicked back into the city by Yi Qingtang, wouldn't that Buddha statue tear him apart alive? Coughs? Holy Lady, I think there's no need for that, the Blood Moon Elder muttered. Yi Qingtang shook her head. This Blood Moon Elder was simply bound too deeply to the past as he spoke about how he was thousands of years ago every now and then. Yi Qingtang was not interested in how the Blood Moon Elder was 1,000 years ago. She was only interested in his current state. Holy Lady, this place has a strong smell of death. It's not good to stay here for long. It's safer for us to leave right now. Flattery filled the Blood Moon Elder's face. Yi Qingtang stared at the Blood Moon Elder. He was still talking about killing and had airs of authority, but after hearing that he was to return back to the city, he was immediately frightened. His shamelessness might just be even greater than his martial skills when he was at his peak 1,000 years ago. Yi Qingtang could not be bothered to say anything more to the Blood Moon Elder and simply headed forward. This place was an extremely huge mountain valley. At this moment, both of them were walking on a certain hill. It had already been a day since they entered this mystic realm, while the powerful figures from Formidable Heavens Dynasty and Nine Nights Dynasty had entered for a way longer time than they have. Presently, Yi Qingtang's heart was filled with puzzlement. After entering the mystic realm, she had not seen traces of anyone from either dynasty apart from the skulls of Li Chenfeng and a Lingyun sect elder. Thinking about it carefully, Li Chenfeng and that Lingyun sect elder probably unintentionally intruded into the blood-colored city and alarmed the scary Buddha statue, ultimately causing them to be slaughtered. Currently, Yi Qingtang only wanted to understand what exactly happened to the forces who entered the mystic realm as quickly as possible. Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder had already walked for hours on this hill. It was only until dusk when they saw a dilapidated temple. The temple was extremely simple and unsophisticated. It was not too big and had a square shape, appearing to be very ordinary. However, there were 7 to 8 sect disciples outside the temple. Yi Qingtang looked carefully and realized that 2 of those disciples were from Falling Sky Valley while the remaining people were from Nine Nights Dynasty. At that instant, Yi Qingtang originally wanted to ask them about the situation but suddenly recalled that she was currently wearing a Yunshao sect disciple uniform. Yunshao sect was a super sect of Formidable Heavens Dynasty while multiple people near the temple were from Nine Nights Dynasty. The dynasties were enemies with each other. Especially, members from Yunshao sect were irreconcilable archenemies with Falling Sky Valley. Chapter 579, Danger 3. If she suddenly appeared at that time, she would not be able to find out anything and might even be jointly attacked by them. Immediately, Yi Qingtang changed into an ordinary white top and stored the Yunshao sect disciple uniform in her space ring. Then, Yi Qingtang walked towards the temple in great strides. The people stood in a row in front of the temple. They seemed to be paying respects to the temple. Senior brother, I was separated from the sect after I entered the mystic realm. I had been trapped in a small city all along and only escaped not long ago. May I ask what exactly happened after everyone entered the mystic realm? Yi Qingtang walked to the side of a Falling Sky Valley disciple with a harmless smile on her face. Yi Qingtang was a Falling Sky Valley disciple in her past life as well and had a natural soft spot for the Falling Sky Valley. However, Yi Qingtang waited for a long time but did not get any response. Even more than that, those Falling Sky Valley disciples did not even spare Yi Qingtang a look. It was not just the Falling Sky Valley disciples, but even the numerous people at the front did not seem to want to respond to Yi Qingtang. Humph! The Blood Moon Elder scoffed coldly. My young sir is talking to you all. Why are you all not responding to him? Yi Qingtang had a slight headache when she saw the Blood Moon Elder's response and pinched her glabella. This Blood Moon Elder did not have much skill presently, yet he was still arrogant. Every word he said could ignite a battle. Could it be that he still wanted to kill her? But what Yi Qingtang could not understand was that those 9 Knights Dynasty people simply turned a deaf ear to the Blood Moon Elder and did not respond. Fellow people, I'm also from the 9 Knights Dynasty camp, Yi Qingtang explained. That's right. My young sir and I are from the 9 Knights Dynasty. Once we enter this mystic realm, everyone belongs to the same camp. If you have any news, it is only right to share it. The Blood Moon Elder echoed and nodded hurriedly. There was still no response. Before waiting for Yi Qingtang to speak again, the young male who was the first in line suddenly drew a long sword out of its sheath. Noticing the situation, Yi Qingtang frowned immediately, not knowing why that person had unsheathed his sword. Swoosh! In the next second, Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder exchanged a look with each other with mouths hung ajar. That young male actually brandished his sword without saying anything and chopped his own head off. The headless body took a few steps forward. Fresh blood splattered all over the ground and was instantly absorbed into the ground like water entering sand. The Blood Moon Elder was stupefied. Could it be that the disciple lost his mind and killed himself? Without giving Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder any time to react, the second person walked forward, unsheathed his sword similarly without saying anything, and beheaded himself. Rumble! The head fell to the ground and rolled forward like a rubber ball, leaving a trail of blood on the ground. And the trail of blood was completely absorbed by the ground almost instantly. I have sinned. I have sinned. The third person mumbled in between miserable wails. He had a malevolent expression as he laughed crazily. Ultimately, his hands clutched onto his skull and forcefully pulled it apart from his body with brute force. Blood spouted out from the neck and into the sky. Once the fresh blood touched the ground, it was once again absorbed. With his head in his hands, the third person staggered forward a few steps before eventually collapsing and dying. Even the Blood Moon Elder could not help but gasp at the sight. His Blood Moon sect was claimed to be the first demonic sect by everyone, and as a Blood Moon Elder, he had seen many violent scenes in his lifetime and had committed innumerable murders, never knowing what mercy meant. However, after seeing this scene today, his scalp still tingled, and he found it hard to disbelief. Chapter 580, Oddity, 1. Yi Qingtang frowned and could not believe that the 2 influential people of the 9 Knights dynasty would chop off their own heads instantly. The 2 Falling Sky Valley disciples walked towards the temple at the same time. Yi Qingtang's eyes flickered and pulled the 2 people back immediately. She would not bother about the well-being of strangers, but the 2 people in front of her were the disciples of the Falling Sky Valley. The Falling Sky Valley was significant to her. She did not want the Falling Sky Valley disciples to commit suicide by going to the temple. Those who were dead served as an example. Both Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder were full of experience, and they could tell from the things that happened just now that there was something peculiar with the temple in front. However, the moment she held the 2 Falling Sky Valley disciples back, she was shocked. Their strength was immense, and her hands were deflected immediately. Move away! One of the Falling Sky Valley disciples turned over. His eyes were fierce and evil. He stared deadly at Yi Qingtang and shouted in anger. He did not lose his consciousness? Yi Qingtang's eyes were filled with astonishment for a second as she could not understand the situation. Yi Qingtang thought that those who committed suicide lost their consciousness due to some unknown evil spirits inside the temple. She believed that that was the reason why they did not know what they were doing. However, Yi Qingtang noticed that the two Falling Sky Valley disciples did not seem to lose their consciousness. The two Falling Sky Valley disciples arrived at the front of the temple in a split second. The two of them kneed down and kowtowed. Plink, plink. Suddenly, the two Falling Sky Valley disciples pulled their swords out by their waists. Those who are sinned deserve to die. There is no amnesty. The things happened next shocked the Blood Moon Elder and Yi Qingtang again. The two Falling Sky Valley disciples wielded their swords at the same time and chopped down towards each other's head after they shouted. It happened so fast that Yi Qingtang could not stop them in time. At the next second, the intense odor of blood spread out. The two heads were chopped off and flew into the air. A large amount of blood spurted out from their neck and dropped onto the ground like raindrops. Yi Qingtang frowned slightly as she saw the two corpses that collapsed onto the ground instantly. Though she intended to save the two Falling Sky Valley disciples, she could not do anything to help as she did not expect their moves. Holy Lady, the temple is definitely odd. The Blood Moon Elder's expression was serious. Leave. The temple was odd. Those who approached died miserably even though they were martial Qi level 3 cultivators. Yi Qingtang did not hesitate and decided to leave immediately. The Blood Moon Elder's face was pale. He had been everywhere 1,000 years ago, but he had never witnessed such horrifying things. They ran for a few thousand meters before they stopped. Finally, we managed to escape, the Blood Moon Elder sighed. The hell of Avicinaraka was full of risks and was too dangerous. It would be extremely difficult to survive for half a month inside. Holy! The Blood Moon Elder was about to say something to Yi Qingtang, but his face changed the moment he turned over. There was a temple in front of them, and there were countless of headless corpses around. Chapter 581, Oddity 2, Yi Qingtang stared at the temple and frowned. She seemed to be facing her greatest enemy. How is it possible? We ran for so long and we still end up at the same place. Is there an illusion array? Is that why we can't get out of this place? The Blood Moon Elder said in disbelief. Yi Qingtang shook her head. There was no energy turbulence of an array in their surroundings, so they were not trapped in an array formation. We have all sinned, the Blood Moon Elder said softly suddenly and walked towards the temple. Blood Moon Elder? Yi Qingtang narrowed her eyes as she stared at the Blood Moon Elder. I have committed many sins. I shall use my blood to redeem my sins. The Blood Moon Elder suddenly knelt in front of the temple and murmured. His face and eyes were full of regret. This is bad. Yi Qingtang did not hesitate anymore. She stepped forward and stopped behind the Blood Moon Elder instantly. Yi Qingtang used her palm and hit the Blood Moon Elder. He lost his consciousness and fell. Yi Qingtang did not have other choices. He would kill himself if she did not hit him. Yi Qingtang planned to bring the Blood Moon Elder away from this place, but suddenly, she heard a voice. The voice sounded like the chanting of ancient gods, and one could not hear any other voice on earth. Yi Qingtang felt her body was stiff. I have sinned, Yi Qingtang murmured and dragged her stiff body forward a few meters. She knelt down on the ground when she reached the front of the temple. There was an elegant stone Buddha in the temple. The Buddha suddenly opened its eyes and said softly, "You have sinned the moment you are born." I have sinned. Yi Qingtang was filled with sadness all of a sudden. You need to use your blood to wash off your sins. The soft voice of the Buddha appeared again. Use my blood. Yi Qingtang's eyesight was firm. Clink. The demonic blood sword was held in her hand. The demonic blood sword was placed beside her neck at the next second. She could chop off her head at any moment. Suddenly, the blood moon at her glabella suddenly appeared, and a strong force surrounded her. A tall shadow appeared through her blood moon at the same time. It was a cold man with silver hair. His eyes were expressionless, and they seemed to be able to suppress everything in the world. Break! The shadow shouted and broke the delusive voice. A ball of strong energy exploded out of her blood moon as the shadow's voice spread out. The energy surrounded Yi Qingtang. Yi Qingtang's expression changed, and her entire life was replaying inside her brain. She had never done anything harmful since she was born. She only killed those who intended to murder her. She had never hurt anyone innocent. Where is my sin? Yi Qingtang gritted her teeth and struggled to get up from the ground. Her birth was a part of nature's rule and the result of human reproduction. There was no sin. She had never hurt anyone innocent in her entire life. There was no sin. Even the Buddha could not accuse her of any sin. Where is my sin? Yi Qingtang's eyesight changed from confusion to firmness. Her eyes sparkled, and there was no trace of uncertainty at all. Chapter 582, Oddity 3. The Buddha in the temple chuckled. You are born with sin. Yi Qingtang frowned and did not bother to say anything. She slashed the temple with her demonic blood sword. Boom! A loud sound exploded, and a cloud of dust was spinning in the wind. The temple was crushed into pieces under her sword. That was risky. Yi Qingtang's face was pale, and she could still feel the fear in her heart. Just now, she was deluded by the voice from the temple. She was filled with regret and sadness that led to the development of mental demons. She thought that she was full of sin and wanted to end her own life. However, Yi Qingtang touched her glabella area. The blood moon had disappeared, and the power inside it was used up. There is brother's power in the blood moon mark. Yi Qingtang was in thought. The shadow that appeared from her glabella was the remaining consciousness of the blood moon holy lord. If it had not appeared, she would have died. Such a pity. Yi Qingtang shook her head as the remaining power in the blood moon was used up. If she encountered any danger in the future, the blood moon would not be able to help her anymore. Soon, Yi Qingtang cleared her thoughts and sized up the debris of the temple. The power inside the temple was able to delude people nearby. They would definitely be influenced by the stone Buddha. Without a strong mental ability, they would definitely die here miserably. However, Yi Qingtang did not have any mental demons as she did not do anything harmful in her entire life. She was firm on that deep in her heart, and that was the reason why she dared to challenge that her life and her birth was not full of sin. The query she had in her heart stimulated the remaining consciousness that was sealed in the blood moon. She then abandoned her confusion and got rid of the mental demons. The temple was destroyed under her sword. The blood moon elder woke up after a while. He stared at Yi Qingtang in confusion as he did not know what happened. How come I feel that? I was hit by someone, the blood moon elder murmured, and his eyes were filled with uncertainty. Yi Qingtang did not explain but walked to the debris of the temple. She picked up a crystal from the broken Buddha. Illusion stone. Yi Qingtang sized up the crystal in her hand. Her face was very serious. The illusion stone was the pupil of a demonic beast that had enchantment skills. It would never grow in a stone Buddha. Yi Qingtang noticed earlier that the Buddha's left eye was weird. The Buddha's left eye was placed with the illusion stone by someone. Once a person's eyes met with the stone, the person would be deluded. The illusion stone was the culprit behind the actions of those who committed suicide earlier. Is it possible that Yi Qingtang was puzzled? All these are man-made? The 100-level peril hell of Avicinaraka was made by humans. How could that be possible? Furthermore, mystic realms opened by chance and had 100 different levels of danger. No one could predict the opening of the hell of Avicinaraka. Even gods might not be able to do that. Yi Qingtang was slightly irritated and waved towards the blood moon elder nearby. The blood moon elder ran towards her immediately. Yi Qingtang did not hide anything. She showed the illusion stone to the blood moon elder and told him her opinion. Chapter 583, Encounter 1. Holy Lady, it's not possible. The blood moon elder shook his head after hearing Yi Qingtang's prediction. This piece of land had a limited supply of spirit energy. Even a mighty holy venerate's ability would be suppressed at the peak of the level of a yin-yang true lord on this land. The blood moon holy lord's ability had surpassed that of the ultimate elder, but the mainland suppressed his ability at the peak of the level of a yin-yang true lord. That was the reason why he was chased by the ultimate elder. The 100-level peril hell of Avicinaraka could pose dangers to gods as their abilities would also be suppressed at the level of a yin-yang true lord. How was it possible to play any tricks here? Yi Qingtang pinched her glabella. Maybe she thought too much. The starting of the hell of Avicinaraka would last for half a month. Yi Qingtang and the blood moon elder would need to spend another 14 days in the hell of Avicinaraka. When they were about to leave, 10 young men and ladies arrived at the place. The 10 people were from the Nine Knights dynasty and the formidable Heavens dynasty, including the Falling Sky Valley, the Ouyang family, and the Yuehua sect. Yi Qingtang was a little curious. People of the two dynasties were together. Hey brother, Im Feng Tsong, disciple of the Falling Sky Valley. May I know what happened here? One of the men from the Falling Sky Valley walked over when he saw Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder. He frowned when he saw the collapsed temple and a few corpses. 2 of the corpses were Falling Sky Valley disciples. Yi Qingtang held her fists together and said, "My surname is Yi." She then explained the truth to them. So that is how it is. Feng Tsong nodded and did not challenge anything. The 100-level Peril Mystic Realm was extremely odd. We were sent to different locations when we entered the Mystic Realm and lost contact with our sect. We struggled to survive along the way. Initially, there were 10 people in my team, but now only 10 of us are left in the entire Mystic Realm after one day. Feng Tsong sighed. They would have never entered the place if they knew that it was the 100-level Peril Mystic Realm. However, there was no way out now. Brother Yi, are you interested in joining us? We need to work together in the 100-level Peril Mystic Realm. If not, we may all die here. That is what I'm thinking. Yi Qingtang smiled. Are you interested as well, this lady? Feng Tsong's eyesight landed on the Blood Moon Elder after getting Yi Qingtang's reply. The Blood Moon Sect Elder, Brother Feng, she is my servant. It's not necessary to ask for her opinion, Yi Qingtang said. Okay. Feng Tsong nodded but still sized up the Blood Moon Elder. Brother, yes, taste is really fresh. Is it the illusion stone in your hand, young sir? A shy lady walked over slowly, and she looked at Yi Qingtang with her enchanting eyes. Ouyang Qian, Yi Qingtang scoffed in her heart as she looked at the lady in front of her. Ouyang Qian had tormented in her previous life all the time. However, she was very pretty. The men in the team all surrounded her. Some of the men in the team stared at Yi Qingtang with hostility when they witnessed that Ouyang Qian seemed to be interested in Yi Qingtang. Chapter 584. Encounter 2. Yi Qingtang's male disguise could be considered very handsome. His eyes appeared to be slightly evil. No other man in the team could be compared to Yi Qingtang. Furthermore, Ouyang Qian was so into her that the rest of them all felt jealous. It's an illusion stone, Yi Qingtang said and smiled. Ouyang Qian rolled her eyes and stepped closer towards Yi Qingtang. She smiled charmingly. Young sir, are you willing to sell the illusion stone to me? Ouyang Qian was cultivating a type of fiend skill. Her cultivation would improve hugely with the help of the illusion stone. Yi Qingtang stared at Ouyang Qian and said, "What do you want to offer in exchange?" "Anything you ask." Young sir, Ouyang Qian's face was full of shyness. "How about your body?" Yi Qingtang's lips curled up slightly, forming into a devilish smile. The men in the team were all shocked after hearing her words. Ouyang Qian also did not expect young sir to be so straightforward. You're really amusing. How about we discuss again later?" Ouyang Qian's eyes were filled with coldness. "Okay." Yi Qingtang nodded her head in agreement. "Who do you think you are? How dare you to be so rude to Lady O? Are you tired of living?" One of the Yuehua sect disciples went forward and shouted at Yi Qingtang angrily with his finger pointing at her. Before Yi Qingtang could say anything, the Blood Moon Elder pointed back at the disciple and rebuked. "Who are you? How does it bother you when holy? Young sir talk to others? Bastard! What did you say?" The Yuehua sect disciple's face immediately clouded. An extremely ugly servant dared to talk to him like that? Feng Tsong frowned. He stepped forward and stopped the 2 people from quarreling. "Can't you see the situation we are in now? It's not the time for you to settle your business. Leave it till we can escape from this place alive. This is the 100-level Peril Mystic Realm. If we do not work together, we may all die here. The most urgent thing now is to find people from all the sects and reunite with them. I hope you can set aside your personal matters first." Another lady from the Falling Sky Valley said. "Humph." The Yuehua sect disciple humphed. He stared at Yi Qingtang in a threatening way and then backed off. Yi Qingtang did not bother to quarrel with the Yuehua sect disciple. She followed Feng Tsong and the rest to move forward. From what Feng Tsong and the rest described, they also encountered many demon creatures here, and near 10 of them died. The next 2 days were peaceful as they did not encounter any demon creature. However, they witnessed some broken corpses of sect disciples. It had been 3 days since they entered the hell of Avicinaraka. They needed to spend another 13 days to leave this place alive. However, it was easier said than done. A voice was heard at midnight at Yi Qingtang's temporary place. Young Sir Yi. Ouyang Qian suddenly appeared with a smile. She was in a white maxi dress. Her hair was swinging at her waist area. Half of her breasts could be seen through the dress. Any man would not be able to resist such temptations. Yi Qingtang was calm after noticing her appearance. Lady Qian, why do you come over to my place at midnight instead of getting some rest? Chapter 585. Encounter 3. Ouyang Qian chuckled. Young sir, I'm just here to have a chat with you. Oh, what do you want to chat then? Yi Qingtang pretended to be ignorant and asked. Of course, it's about the illusion stone. Ouyang Qian sat in front of Yi Qingtang slowly. Her lips were tilted slightly. She hugged Yi Qingtang with her hands and murmured beside her ear. Young sir, I remember that you said that you want my body to exchange for that illusion stone. That's right. Yi Qingtang smiled. Then, what are you waiting for? Ouyang Qian placed her hands at Yi Qingtang's back. Her voice was seducing, and it seemed that she was willing to do anything. Lady Qian, are you sure about that? Yi Qingtang asked meaningfully. Of course. Ouyang Qian smiled, but her eyes were cold. She had intended to kill Yi Qingtang. Before Yi Qingtang could say anything, Ouyang Qian held her body tightly and said, however, I believe there's one sentence that young sir should hear before. It's an honor to die under a peony flower. Coldness swiped through Ouyang Qian's eyes. A ball of black mist appeared in her hand suddenly, and it seemed to be able to crush Yi Qingtang's organs. What do you want? Yi Qingtang was shocked. Young sir, you can only blame yourself for your death. If you gave me the illusion stone willingly, you can at least keep your life. How dare you to dream to have sex with me? It's a pity that your handsome appearance will be gone as well. Ouyang Qian scorned. Sush. The moment when Ouyang Qian finished her words, a flare lit up on Yi Qingtang's body. There was a talisman on her back. As the talisman was burning, Ouyang Qian was hit by the intense force from the talisman and vomited blood. Talisman array formation. Ouyang Qian's face was pale, and she stared at Yi Qingtang unbelievably. The shock on Yi Qingtang's face was gone, and it was replaced by a cold smile. I know that you want to ask why was I prepared? That's because I know you well. You know me? Ouyang Qian could not believe what she just heard. Dying under a peony flower. I admit that the sentence is true, but you are no peony flower. Yi Qingtang smiled. Based on what Yi Qingtang knew about Ouyang Qian, she would definitely make a move within these few days. That was the reason why Yi Qingtang took out a protection talisman from her space ring and kept it close with her. What do you want? Ouyang Qian gritted her teeth. She did not expect that Yi Qingtang would be prepared earlier with a talisman array formation. And she fell into the trap. I want your body. Yi Qingtang smiled. Oh, that is what you want. Ouyang Qian curled her lips. Come in. Yi Qingtang did not reply Ouyang Qian but shouted towards outside. The Blood Moon Elder walked in immediately. He was puzzled and asked, Holy Lady, what is the great gift that you said? Holy Lady? Ouyang Qian was stunned when she heard the Blood Moon Elder's words. She stared at Yi Qingtang unbelievably. You are a woman? However, Yi Qingtang did not bother to explain. She made an evil smile as she looked at the Blood Moon Elder. She is the gift. Chapter 586, Possession, 1. The Blood Moon Elder was slightly dazed. After returning to his senses, he hurriedly waved his hands and said, Holy Lady, I don't like women. You don't like women? Yi Qingtang was stunned, and she could not help but size up the Blood Moon Elder with a subtle expression. No. The The Blood Moon Elder felt his scalp tingle from Yi Qingtang's stare and frantically shook his head. That's not what I mean. I just don't lust after women. Yi Qingtang looked at the Blood Moon Elder speechlessly and pinched her glabella. Was he mistaken about something? As the Blood Moon Elder looked at the enchantingly beautiful Ouyang Qian, he was filled with grief and indignation. Before entering the mystic realm, the Holy Lady told him that she would bestow him a big present. Initially, the Blood Moon Elder was filled with expectation for this so-called big present, and assumed that it would be an elixir that she refined. However, never would he expect that the supposed big present was actually a woman. What would he need a woman for? What he needed were elixirs. Elixirs? He is a man? After she heard the conversation between Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder, Ouyang Qian's expression changed drastically. She stared at the Blood Moon Elder in disbelief with horror in her eyes before looking at Yi Qingtang. You actually want to let such a hideous-looking man engage in that illicit act with me? Pfft. The Blood Moon Elder shot a look at Ouyang Qian. Shameless. To think that he was once so honorable as an elder of the Blood Moon sect 1,000 years ago. How would he want such a woman like Ouyang Qian? Before waiting for Yi Qingtang to say anything, the Blood Moon Elder immediately inched nearer to hear and smiled. Holy Lady, how about you exchange this woman with elixirs? I personally like elixirs more. Look, however, Yi Qingtang shook her head, looked at the Blood Moon Elder, and spoke in a grave tone with sincerity. The effect of this woman is much better than elixirs. Seeing that his Holy Lady simply did not give him any room for negotiation, the Blood Moon Elder had a sullen expression as he said, Holy Lady, you may not know, but my waist cannot make it. Yi Qingtang stared blankly at the Blue Moon Elder. Yi Qingtang was actually speechless for a moment. This Blood Moon Elder was overthinking too much. Furthermore, how much did he despise Ouyang Qian exactly? You should change a body already, Yi Qingtang said helplessly while looking at the Blood Moon Elder. What? The Blood Moon Elder was dumbstruck and in utter disbelief. Yi Qingtang's intention was actually for him to possess this woman's body. Almost right when he realized that, the Blood Moon Elder turned around and wanted to leave without hesitation. Yet, how would he have the chance to leave? Yi Qingtang raised a brow and grabbed the Blood Moon Elder's left shoulder directly, pulling him. Why? You don't like it? Yi Qingtang looked at the Blood Moon Elder with a raised brow. At that moment, shock filled the Blood Moon Elder's face while misery flooded his eyes. Holy Lady, I'm a man. 1,000 years ago, he overran the world and could go anywhere he pleased. Many supreme-grade women adored him. Yet he was to be a woman now? If others knew about this, wouldn't they laugh their heads off? He simply could not do it. You've been a man for 1,000 years. What's so bad about being a woman occasionally? Yi Qingtang spoke meaningfully with a sincere expression. At that very instant, Ouyang Qian's face was already ash-white. Chapter 587, Possession, 2. She finally understood what Yi Qingtang meant by needing her body. She actually wanted to let someone possess her body. Ouyang Qian clenched her teeth. She originally wanted to get out of this situation, but she did not have any strength left in her body. Holy Lady, I feel that. The Blood Moon Elder originally wanted to use emotions and reason to persuade Yi Qingtang, but he was cut short by Yi Qingtang halfway. This girl has a superb martial talent and cultivates demonic techniques. Her current skills have already entered the peak of the first heaven of martial chi level 3, and she will break through to the second heaven and even the third heaven of martial chi level 3 very quickly. If you're willing to possess her, everything she has would become yours. After hearing that, the Blood Moon Elder was suddenly quiet. What Yi Qingtang said indeed attracted him. The peak of the first heaven of martial chi level 3 in addition to superb martial talent. With the support of Yi Qingtang's elixirs, perhaps he would be able to return to his peak once again. Surpassing his peak might not be impossible. But the Blood Moon Elder was still a little bothered. After all, he was to suddenly become a woman without any mental preparation, no buts. Yi Qingtang waved a hand and cut his sentence short. We are in the 100-level peril hell of Avicinaraka right now. Even I barely have the ability to protect myself. Have you ever thought of whether you can leave this place alive based on your skills? The Blood Moon Elder's expression changed. If Yi Qingtang had not knocked him unconscious at that temple previously, his ending would definitely be extremely tragic as well. Yi Qingtang shook her head at the Blood Moon Elder and sighed. Forget it. I see that you do not wish to do this as well, so I will not force you anymore. You can't fancy the skills of a cultivator at the peak of the first heaven of martial chi level 3 with peerless demonic techniques anyways. I'm afraid that you don't even care when you die in the mystic realm. Since that's the case, why would I convince you? Whatever. Forget it. You can leave. After saying that, Yi Qingtang saw that the Blood Moon Elder was still standing at the same spot and said rather impatiently, "Leave quickly." The Blood Moon Elder's heart was shaken. Almost in the next second, his face was full of smiles. "Holy Lady, I think that what you said is logical, and of course, I will listen to your arrangements. So be it if it was a woman. It was still better than dying in this hell of Avicinaraka." The Blood Moon Elder did not wish to die in this mystic realm. Even if his spirit would not be destroyed when he died, if he died in this mystic realm which started at irregular timings, there would probably be no hope of returning to his previous position in this lifetime. "This is right," Yi Qingtang said and patted the Blood Moon Elder's left shoulder. "I'm not letting you be a female forever. If there is a better male body next time, wouldn't it be great if you possessed it again then?" The Blood Moon Elder nodded in full agreement. He was not going to be a woman for his entire lifetime, and what he was doing now was only a temporary expedient. A great man knew when to yield and when to not. Seeing that the Blood Moon Elder was finally enlightened, she did not say anything else and merely lifted her chin at Ouyang Qian. Immediately understanding her gesture, the Blood Moon Elder walked towards Ouyang Qian with a sinister smile. Currently, Ouyang Qian had already understood what the two people meant and paled in fear. "I am the young miss of 9 Knights Dynasty's Ouyang clan. If you all dare to do anything, my Ouyang clan will definitely assassinate you all by wrathful means." Chapter 588, Possession, 3. "Oh?" The Blood Moon Elder laughed coldly. "What you're saying doesn't seem to be false. From now on, I am the young, whatever it's called, of the 9 Knights Dynasty's Ouyang clan and will completely replace you." Ouyang Qian was appalled as she retreated backward in a struggle. Nonetheless, her entire body was weak, and there was no way of resisting. However, the Blood Moon Elder would not let Ouyang Qian escape either. In just 15 minutes, the Blood Moon Elder's body collapsed on the ground while Ouyang Qian rose slowly. The horror on that stunning face had completely disappeared, and what replaced it was an evil smile. "Holy Lady," the Ouyang Qian, who stood up, smiled at Yi Qingtang immediately. "Very good." Yi Qingtang was extremely satisfied as she stared at the unrivaled beauty that was the Blood Moon Elder. This appearance was much more pleasing to the eye than Zhou Chu's face. The Blood Moon Elder waved his right arm immediately, and black smoke floated in his palms, turning Zhou Chu's body to dust. "It's not bad. This body is indeed full of power." The Blood Moon Elder flashed his teeth. Although he was initially resistant, he was relieved when he thought that he could still possess an even stronger male body in the future. "Miss Ouyang." As the Blood Moon Elder was familiarizing with his new body, a male in white suddenly barged in. This man in white was the Yuehua sect disciple from that day who adored Ouyang Qian and even hated Yi Qingtang to the core because of that. When the Yuehua sect disciple saw a disheveled Ouyang Qian in a rather messy situation, his face changed immediately, and he looked at Yi Qingtang insidiously. "What are you doing here?" Ouyang Qian said coldly and stared at the Yuehua sect disciple. "Miss Ouyang, I heard some strange noises here just now. I seem to have heard your voice, and I was worried, so I came over to take a look." As the Yuehua sect disciple looked at Ouyang Qian, his manner softened immediately while his tone became gentler as well. Yi Qingtang stood aside, calm and unruffled. A seeming laugh hung on her lips as she looked at that Yuehua sect disciple. She remembered that this Yuehua sect disciple seemed to be interested in Ouyang Qian. "Miss Ouyang, you don't have to worry about anything with me here. If this person dares to bully you, I will definitely tear him into pieces. The Yuehua sect disciple declared coldly as he looked at Ouyang Qian. Ouyang Qian's mouth twitched unconsciously. Glaring at the Yuehua sect disciple with a frown, she shouted, "Get lost!" The Yuehua sect disciple was shocked and thought he heard wrong. Didn't you hear that? As a sect disciple, you don't even have the slightest ability to make discerning judgments, and you even dared to interrupt Miss Ouyang and me? Yi Qingtang suddenly took a step forward and snickered coldly. You! The Yuehua sect disciple's expression changed and darkened. You what you? Quickly get lost. Ouyang Qian came forward immediately and kicked that Yuehua sect disciple out. Outside the tent, the Yuehua sect disciple was sorrowful as he looked at the cold Ouyang Qian. Qian, you promised me before that if I devote myself wholly to you. A shudder ran through the Blood Moon Elder's body immediately. To hell with devoting myself wholly to you. Chapter 589, Femme Fatale, 1. Forget it. The Blood Moon Elder turned around and returned to the tent. After being chided by someone he adored, the Yuehua sect disciple paled instantly. All his previous anger was gone as he left dejectedly without knowing exactly what happened. As Yi Qingtang watched the Yuehua sect disciple leave, she subsequently turned around and looked at the Blood Moon Elder with a smile. The feeling of being doted on by a man should be pretty good, isn't it? Helplessness filled the Blood Moon Elder. Yi Qingtang walked towards the Blood Moon Elder. She did not joke around anymore and instead informed the Blood Moon Elder everything about Ouyang Qian. The Ouyang family clan of Nine Nights Dynasty was the #1 family clan in Nine Nights Dynasty, and it was not weaker than the super sections. The Ouyang clan had very strong powers and heritage, and it could even compete with the Falling Sky Valley of the Nine Nights Dynasty. Currently, the Blood Moon Elder had possessed Ouyang Qian's body, and this was equivalent to replacing Ouyang Qian. Eventually, he had to return to the Ouyang Qian in the future. Thus, he had to know everything about the Ouyang clan, otherwise, there was a high possibility that he would be exposed. As for Ouyang Qian's background, Yi Qingtang already knew everything clearly from when she interacted with her in her previous life. Ouyang Qian was the daughter that family master Ouyang doted on and spoiled the most. Now that the Blood Moon Elder replaced Ouyang Qian, it would be of great help to Yi Qingtang in the future. After ensuring that the Blood Moon Elder completely remembered everything she said, she finally let him leave. Before he left, Yi Qingtang specially reminded the Blood Moon Elder to return to Ouyang Qian's residence to prevent further suspicion. I hope that we can leave the hell of Avicinaraka alive. After the Blood Moon Elder left, Yi Qingtang sighed softly. The hell of Avicinaraka was too dangerous, and one could die in it if just a tad careless. If that was really the case, whatever she did would all be pointless. Yi Qingtang did not sleep a wink that night. Sitting cross-legged on the ground, she entered a state of meditation and consolidated her cultivation skills. Currently, Yi Qingtang's martial cultivation level had already reached the peak of the 3rd heaven of martial chi level 2 and was only a half step away from entering martial chi level 3. Although the hell of Avicinaraka was extremely dangerous, it was very beneficial to raising the skills of cultivators. From ancient times to now, the more dangerous a place was, the better it was at stimulating the potential of cultivators. Naturally, the speed of cultivation here could not be compared to that in the external world. Moreover, danger coexisted with crises. The more dangerous a place was, the more destinies there would be. There were definitely many destinies in the hell of Avicinaraka. However, it was unknown who could gain it or even leave this place alive after gaining it. The night was silent. At twilight, the first faint streaks of dawn appeared in the sky. As day broke, a burst of scoldings could be heard outside the tents. Yi Qingtang slowly opened her eyes, rose, and walked out in great strides. Feng Tsong and the rest were already there. After seeing Yi Qingtang, that Yuehua sect disciple shouted furiously and immediately drew out a yellow-grade weapon from his waist. Lin Tsong, why are you doing this? Feng Tsong asked with a frown when he saw the Yuehua sect disciple's actions. This bastard actually snatched my women. I must kill him today. The Yuehua sect disciple, Lin Tsong, said coldly as he glared at Yi Qingtang furiously. He thought about it for a long time last night and completely could not accept Ouyang Qian's abrupt change which happened after Yi Qingtang's appearance. As such, he pushed all of the blame onto Yi Qingtang. Chapter 590, Femme Fatale 2. Yi Qingtang stared at Lin Song and scoffed coldly. Fellow, you don't have the qualifications to compete with me. What did you say? A fierce glint flickered in Lin Song's eyes, and it seemed as though he would behead Yi Qingtang any time. I said that it's you who don't have any abilities. How could Miss Ouyang fancy such trash like you? Yi Qingtang said indifferently. Lin Song's heart boiled with fury, and he clenched his teeth. Bullshit. You have used that illusion stone to bewitch Miss Ouyang. You're just a martial chi level 2 piece of trash. Today, I want you to die an ignominious death. Oh, you can come and try. The corners of Yi Qingtang's lips tugged up slightly and formed into a sinister smile. Lin Song was even more enraged after seeing Yi Qingtang's attitude. He was a dignified Yuehua sect disciple and was at martial chi level 3, yet a martial chi level 2 piece of trash dared to be so arrogant to him. However, before Lin Song could make a move, a beautiful lady in a white dress slowly arrived. A few males from the Ouyang family clan followed behind the girl. Qian. Lin Song's expression changed, and he immediately called Ouyang Qian after seeing her. After hearing this loving call, the Blood Moon Elder who possessed Ouyang Qian's body felt feelings of disgust rile up within him. He frowned and said coldly, "Who allowed you to call me that way? Qian, are you really under the influence of this bastard's illusion stone?" Lin Song gritted his teeth in indignation. "A few days ago, you clearly told me that you have some feelings for me too. But why, yesterday, I already said that you don't have the abilities, but you don't believe me." With a smile, Yi Qingtang walked to the Blood Moon Elder and held onto the Blood Moon Elder's waist with a casual stance. The Blood Moon Elder froze immediately. Without giving Lin Song any time to react, Yi Qingtang caressed Ouyang Qian's delicate face and said gently with a smile, "Qian, do you think that I'm much more powerful than that piece of trash, Lin Song?" The Blood Moon Elder shuddered. Although he knew that his holy lady was a female, Yi Qingtang's disguise skills were really good. No matter how he looked, he could only see a delicately handsome young man. If it were other girls, their hearts would have long been melted should they be treated like this by such a beautiful boy. However, all he wanted now was to die. Obviously, Lin Song could not guess Ouyang Qian's feeling right now and could only watch the intimate action between Yi Qingtang and Ouyang Qian. Grief and indignation filled him, but he could only contain the fury in his heart and look at Ouyang Qian pressingly. "Qian, this cannot be true." Ouyang Qian scoffed coldly. "Im Ouyang clan's young? Young miss. How would I take a liking to a piece of trash like you? The person I like is naturally this handsome, young sir in front of me." The Blood Moon Elder was aggrieved. What sin had he committed exactly? At that instant, the males from Ouyang clan exchanged a look and were slightly surprised. It can't be that young miss is really interested in that pretty boy, can it? This does not seem to be consistent with young miss' personality. No. You must have been deceived by his illusion stone. Lin Song immediately looked at Yi Qingtang. "I want you to die." Then, Lin Song's body moved instantly and charged towards Yi Qingtang rapidly. Noticing the situation, Ouyang Qian immediately waved at the Ouyang clan people. "Beat him to death." Chapter 591, Femme Fatale 3. After they heard their young miss, the expressions of the Ouyang clan men were even stranger. Young Miss Ouyang Qian told them that she fancied that pretty boy's illusion stone. However, that pretty boy did not know what was good for him. That's strange. Young Miss clearly said that she would take that pretty boy's life. Why is it that so suddenly? Could it be that young Miss really fell for that pretty boy? The men from the Ouyang clan were in thought. "Why are you all still in a daze?" Ouyang Qian shouted at them loudly. One of them immediately cupped his fists at Ouyang Qian and replied, "Yes." Afterward, all of them immediately stopped Lin Kong. The scene was a mess in the subsequent hour. Ultimately, Lin Song was beaten up to a pulp by the combined forces of the Ouyang clan men and was flung out. All of the Ouyang clan people were already at martial chi level 3, and although Lin Song was not weak, it was difficult to fight against 4 people by himself, and it was already pretty good that he did not die. Although Feng Tsong wanted to dissuade them, the Ouyang clan was too powerful, and it was inconvenient for him to cut in. Lin Song was heavily injured, and this small team could only abandon him. After making arrangements for a while, the team continued on their journey. The pressing matter at the moment was to find a sect team. Otherwise, it would be hard to last until the end of the Hell of Avicinaraka just by themselves. This departure lasted another 2 days. 2 days later, everyone arrived at a desert. Look! Feng Tsong pointed forward with an astonished expression. After hearing him, everyone looked in the direction that Feng Tsong pointed at. There was a majestic palace miles away which radiated a faint golden ray. That palace is... Everyone exchanged a look but could not form a conclusion. Let's take a look, the Blood Moon Elder said eventually. A magnificent palace appeared in the desert. If it was not a place with a huge destiny, then it would be a land of death. There were as many destinies as dangers. Given the Blood Moon Elder's personality, he would naturally want to find out what it was. Holy, darling Yi, what do you think? The Blood Moon Elder looked at Yi Qingtang with a feigned gentleness and eyes full of gentle tenderness. Can you not call me that? When Yi Qingtang saw Ouyang Qian's gentle eyes, a chill ran down her spine, and disgust rose within her. The Blood Moon Sect Elder. At that instant, the Blood Moon Elder broke down a little internally. It was clearly Holy Lady who warned him repeatedly that night to coordinate with her. He had already thrown his own face away, yet why did Holy Lady despise him now? Was the gentleness that he mastered after a Herculean effort disregarded by his Holy Lady just like that? Darling Yi, the Blood Moon Elder leaned against Yi Qingtang with a face full of smiles. If you could call me this again, I may not be able to hold myself back from beating you to death. Yi Qingtang glared at the flirty Blood Moon Elder with a serious expression. Although Ouyang Qian's external appearance was extremely beautiful, the spirit inside was an old man. Yi Qingtang really could not bear an old man calling her darling Yi so bashfully. What did you say? A certain Ouyang male stepped forward immediately and looked at Yi Qingtang. You should be extremely honored that my young miss called you that. Yi Qingtang stared blankly at the male. If this Ouyang male likes this honor, he can receive it then. What has this got to do with you? Get lost. The Blood Moon Elder shouted coldly. Chapter 592, The Palace, 1. The Ouyang clan men were stunned after hearing their young miss words. Young miss, you really like... Before the man could finish his words, the Blood Moon Elder gave him a stare. He had to keep his mouth shut. What's the point of saying all the nonsense when young miss does not care? You are only looking for trouble. Another man of the Ouyang clan smiled and sighed after the first man returned to the crowd. I just feel that based on young miss nature, how would she give her true heart to someone so easily? Maybe she fell for the guy? To be honest, he has quite a good appearance. People of the Ouyang clan all shook their head but did not seem to suspect anything. Feng Tsong and the rest walked forward. He stared at Yi Qingtang and said, Brother Yi, Lady Ouyang, do you think we should take a look at the mysterious palace? A majestic palace suddenly appeared out of nowhere in the desert. There were only 2 possible outcomes. Either there were destinies inside, or it might be the horrifying hell. Feng Tsong did not dare to make the decision as it would affect everyone's safety. Listen to him. The Blood Moon Elder looked at Yi Qingtang in a genuine way. Yi Qingtang ignored the loving eyes of the Blood Moon Elder. She frowned and immersed herself in her thoughts. After a short while, Yi Qingtang said, It is more dangerous for us to wander around in the Hell of Avicinaraka. The palace can be seen from anywhere within a few kilometers. I guess that there are others from the Nine Knights dynasty and the formidable Heavens dynasty who will go over to the palace since it is so obvious. That's what I think as well. The Blood Moon Elder nodded. The Blood Moon Elder's identity now was the young miss of the Ouyang clan. People of the Ouyang clan could only comply since their young miss agreed. Eventually, Feng Tsong led the rest towards the mysterious palace. The sandstorm in the desert was huge. Sand was curled up by the typhoon and created a sandstorm. It was extremely difficult to walk under such a storm. One would be curled up into the storm and tore into pieces if he was incautious. It took them a couple of hours to walk just a few kilometers. Under the palace. Feng Tsong was amazed by the palace in front of him. The palace was very magnificent. Even the super sex infrastructure could not be compared with the palace. The ancient style did not seem to be a product of this century. Haha! Suddenly, a burst of crazy laughter came out of the palace. A huge head flew out of the palace the moment the laughter was heard. The head landed in front of Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder. Everyone's face changed when they saw the head. Even Yi Qingtang's eyes flickered. The head belonged to an elder. From the wound, it seemed to be chopped off by a sharp weapon. However, the elder's face had a strange smile. "He is," one of the super sect disciples shouted after seeing the head clearly. "The great elder of the Yuehua sect." What? Feng Tsong and a few others were totally shocked after hearing that. The great elder's martial ability was just below the Yuehua sect master, yet his head was chopped off by someone at this place. Don't kill me. Why did you do this? Chapter 593, The Palace, 2. Before Yi Qingtang could figure out what was going on, a horrifying voice came out from the mysterious palace. A large amount of blood spurted out of the palace's ground at the same time when the scream was heard. The blood-red color filled everyone's eyes. A blood-colored shadow flew out of the palace suddenly. Before Yi Qingtang and the rest could realize what just happened, the shadow landed in front of them. Help me, a weak and desperate voice was heard. The blood-colored shadow that landed in front of them was half of the body of a woman. The woman was pretty, but her black hair was dyed red in the blood. The woman only had the top half of her body. Her face was as pale as a sheet of paper. She dragged her body towards Yi Qingtang and the rest in despair with her hands. As the woman moved inch by inch, sharp blood scars were left on the ground from her broken body. The woman lay flat on the ground after moving a few meters. She died out of breath, and the blood dyed the entire ground under her body red. Feng Tsong and the rest of the 10 people were shocked. Their faces were pale as they stared at the woman with only half of her body. They had witnessed such a horrifying scene before they even entered the palace. It was totally impossible that the palace offered destinies. It must be a hell. Young miss, I think we should leave this place now. One of the Ouyang clan men had an extremely unpleasant expression. As cultivators, they were not afraid of death in a real fight, but they were scared of death from unknown causes. Feng Tsong and a few others also had the feeling to escape. They did not want to remain at this place and definitely did not want to enter the palace. The Blood Moon Elder looked at Yi Qingtang immediately. He did not want to stay at this place anymore, but he needed to wait for Yi Qingtang's command. Leave. Yi Qingtang did not hesitate and was about to turn and leave. Even the great elder of Yuehua sect died here. No one knew what was waiting for them inside the palace. Once they entered, they would most likely die. However, when everyone was just about to retreat, a thunder-like roar arose in front of them and spread out to their surroundings. A large amount of sand suddenly condensed from the endless desert and became a demonic monster in front of everyone. The demonic monster was formed by sand and was a few hundred meters tall. It was like an evil demon in the desert. Its body covered the sky and the sun, and it was surrounded by a sinister aura. A huge storm was formed from its roar. Its eyes seemed to be able to enchant humans. One stare would result in falling into hell with no return. What the hell? One of the sect disciples cursed after seeing the monster. How could they move around with such a monster blocking their way? This is a demonic monster formed from resentment. The Blood Moon Elder frowned and was deep in thought as he looked towards the demonic monster. The so-called resentment was present in all living creatures. When they were alive, they were buried with huge resentment, and after their death, that resentment might morph into evil spirits. Now, Yi Qingtang had to walk towards the palace as there was no way to retreat. Chapter 594, The Palace, 3. Though the palace was full of danger, there was at least hope that they could survive. If they did not enter the palace and fought against the demonic monster born from resentment, there was no chance that they would survive. Yi Qingtang estimated that the demonic monster was at least at the third heaven of martial qi level 3. Unless the big figures of the super sects were the ones who took action, others who wanted to fight against it would face the consequence of death. Are you sure that we are going to enter the palace? A sect disciple was still frightened by the scene he saw just now. He was not willing to step into the palace at all. If you're not willing to go in, feel free to stay outside and fight the demonic monster. Yi Qingtang scanned through the person coldly. You. The sect disciple gritted his teeth but sighed eventually. Yi Qingtang's words were very straightforward, but they were true. That sect disciple was not stupid. It was obvious that they would lose even if all of them combined their forces to fight the demonic beast. Based on their current situation, there was no other choice besides entering the mysterious palace that was full of danger. Yi Qingtang dashed into the palace first. Others did not hesitate and followed her path to enter the unknown palace. Yi Qingtang stopped for a second after entering the palace. She turned over and looked towards the desert. The huge demonic monster was just staring at them from afar. It did not have the intention to enter the palace. However, Yi Qingtang felt more disturbed. Who are you? A roar came from the palace suddenly. Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder looked towards the direction where the sound came from. There were around 60 to 70 people standing in the hall of the palace. Besides people from the normal sects, there were powerful people from Yunshao sect, Lingyun sect, and other super sections. We are sect disciples. Yi Qingtang replied calmly. The starting of the 100-level peril hell of Avicinaraka was beyond everyone's expectations. The conflicts between the two dynasties were set aside for now. Leaving the hell of Avicinaraka alive was the key focus for everyone. Any conflicts and resentment could only be present if they were alive. If they were a cluster of bones, nothing would be left. Everyone here understood that. People in the hall sized up Yi Qingtang and the team but did not say anything. Im Feng Tsong, disciple of the Falling Sky Valley. May I know what happened here? Feng Tsong stepped forward and asked one super sect disciple. We're not sure as well. People from different sects were all separated when we entered the mystic realm. We met these people along the way, and we entered the palace when we were walking in the desert to seek for possible treasures. However, the moment we entered, the Yuehua sect master killed his own great elder and a few disciples. The young man was very anxious and disturbed. Yuehua sect master? Everyone was shocked when they heard that. They thought that there was a powerful creature in the palace from the bloody scene they witnessed outside. However, the Yuehua sect master was the one who murdered others. The ability of a super sect master too powerful to imagine. If people like him started attacking and killing others, the consequences would be too dreadful to think of. Chapter 595. Save People, 1. Where is the Yuehua sect master now? Yi Qingtang felt that something was odd. The two people that died outside the palace were the Yuehua sect elder and disciple. Why would the Yuehua sect master murder them? They are in the second palace. The young man pointed forward and explained. The second palace was separated by a door. The Yuehua sect master entered the mysterious palace first as he thought that there were destinies inside. After checking through the place and realizing that there was no treasure inside, he then led his sect disciples into the second palace. However, just when they entered, the Yuehua sect master suddenly chopped off the great elder's head and the top half of the body of one of the female disciples. The rest were shocked after seeing this. They totally did not understand why the Yuehua sect master would suddenly be murderous. They had to close the door to the second palace to prevent him from killing others outside. Open the door. Let us out, bastard. Open the door now. Argh! Screams came out of the second palace. People outside could even hear the banging sound on the silver door as those inside were trying to return to the first palace. Yi Qingtang was slightly astonished. Apparently, besides the Yuehua sect master who was trapped inside the second palace, there were others who did not escape on time. Humph! One of the Yunshao sect elders scorned. We will get into trouble as well if we open the door. How ridiculous it is! Everyone chose to remain silent though the screams and the banging sounds that were coming out constantly. No one dared to help them. Their abilities could not be compared with the Yuehua sect masters. If they opened the door, they would suffer as well. Yi Qingtang thought for a while and then walked forward directly. It seemed that she wanted to open the door. Everyone was stunned after seeing this. The Yunxiao sect elder took a leap and landed in front of Yi Qingtang. He shouted angrily, "What do you want?" Yi Qingtang took a glimpse at the Yunxiao sect elder and said coldly, "Of course, I'm trying to save people." "Save people? If you want to die, I will not stop you. However, I will not let you open the door. The Yuehua sect master is crazy now. If he comes out, we will all die as a result of your action." The Yunxiao sect elder sneered. "Guys, there was a demonic monster guarding the palace outside. No one can leave this place alive. Though the door here is made of cold iron, based on the Yuehua sect master's ability, you think the door can trap him?" Yi Qingtang did not bother to reply the Yunxiao sect elder. She looked at the rest in the palace and explained. Once the Yuehua sect master kills everyone inside the second palace, he will definitely break through the door. If I open the door now and save one person, we will have another ally. If we fail to save one person, we lose one ally. There are 10 of us here, so why are we still afraid of the Yuehua sect master alone? However, if he kills everyone inside, we will be the ones who lose. Yi Qingtang continued to explain as she saw the silence in the palace. Yi Qingtang's words made everyone think deeply. They had seen too many friends die in front of their eyes since they entered the hell of Avicinaraka. They were only a step away from death in every danger they encountered. Even now, no one dared to promise that they could leave this place alone. Chapter 596, Save People, 2. That's right. The Ouyang clan of the Nine Knights dynasty agrees to open the door and save people. The Blood Moon elder broke the silence. The others of the Ouyang clan also showed their stand. Though their young miss seemed to be obsessed with the pretty boy, the pretty boy's words did make sense. The silver door that was made of black iron would not stop a sect master of a super sect. If they could save one person, there would be one more person fighting alongside them. Soon, some sect disciples looked towards the outside of the palace. A huge monster appeared in everyone's vision a few kilometers away in the desert. "We agree to open the door," a few sect disciples said. Even the Yunxiao sect disciples seemed to change their mind. "Who dares?" The Yunxiao sect elder shouted in rage. However, Yi Qingtang did not even look at the Yunxiao sect elder. She opened the door instantly without leaving any chance for the elder to talk. The intense smell of blood came out of the palace the moment the door was opened. At that moment, people outside then saw the scene clearly. There were bloodstains everywhere in the second palace, and there were broken limbs scattered on the ground. The scene was too horrible to look at. Around 10 men and women were lying beside the door. Their faces were filled with despair. "Come out now!" Yi Qingtang shouted towards the people who were still in shock. The 10 of them then regained their consciousness and looked towards the direction of the voice. When they saw that the silver door was opened, they immediately got up and flew outside. "Thank you so much, brother." One of the Yuehua sect disciples looked at Yi Qingtang with gratitude. His cupped fists were trembling slightly. Hisk, a sinister laugh was heard before Yi Qingtang could say anything. An elder in a red robe was seen in the second palace. He was holding a sword, and his whole body was stained with blood. His eyes were filled with craziness, and a sinister laugh came out of his mouth. Yi Qingtang saw the elder during the fight between Xianling sect and Yunxiao sect. He was the Yuehua sect master. "Close the door." Yi Qingtang closed the silver door immediately at the same time. "What happened exactly? You followed the Yuehua sect master into the second palace together. How come he went crazy inside?" A sect warden asked immediately as the 10 people escaped from the second palace. "Sect master, he appeared to be possessed by the demon the moment he entered the second palace. We also don't know what happened." A Yuehua sect disciple recalled, but his face was still full of horror. Boom! A loud sound was heard at the next second. The closed silver door was under attack by the Yuehua sect master. Based on the Yuehua sect master's ability, the silver door would not be enough to trap him. Boom! Boom! The silver door exploded under a sword breath. The elder, who looked like a demon from hell, walked towards the crowd. He held his sword, and the martial aura he emanated was very intense. Only death can set us free. Helping you. The Yuehua sect master's face was filled with madness. He walked towards the Blood Moon Elder as he finished his words. The Blood Moon Elder's face changed as he saw the Yuehua sect master walking towards him. Thank you so much, but we don't even know each other. As a young lady, I do not deserve your help. How about helping the rest first? Die. The Yuehua sect master laughed loudly and slashed the giant sword in his hand. Rotten asshole. Furious, the Blood Moon Elder raised his right arm and turned into a ball of demonic air, dodging the Yuehua sect master's attack. Don't be afraid. Yi Qingtang shouted. No matter how powerful the Yuehua sect master is, there is only one of him, but there are over 10 of us. What should we fear? Everyone was shaken by the strangeness of this hall earlier on. Especially after seeing that the Yuehua sect master went berserk, everyone was even more fearful of the unknown, and their thoughts were a little messy at the moment. After hearing Yi Qingtang's words, everyone took out their own weapons. They would die if they did not fight, but there was still a possibility of survival if they fought. This brother is right. He only has himself, but we have over 10 people. If we fought with our lives, he is not our opponent. After someone shouted that, everyone charged towards the Yuehua sect master in succession. Previously, they fought independently and lacked unity and thus were naturally not the Yuehua sect master's opponent. However, they had to come together as one now. Most of the people present were inner sect disciples of super sects, and their skills were at martial chi level 3. There were even some elders and wardens as well. With combined forces, even a super sect master would not be able to ward off their attacks easily. For a moment, the first palace was extremely chaotic. Sword auras slashed across everywhere, and Dharma treasures were used. In less than 15 minutes, the Yuehua sect master was finally subdued by the combined attack. The Yuehua sect master had a frenetic expression at that instant. You all will die. All of you will die here. Even with God's protection, all of you will still die. If you speak any more crap, I'll sew your lips together. The Blood Moon Elder walked forward and slapped the Yuehua sect master. Sect master is already subdued. You, a Yuehua sect disciple, seemed to be a little uncomfortable after seeing the Blood Moon Elder slapping the Yuehua sect master loudly. The Blood Moon Elder looked at the person who spoke and scoffed coldly. How about I lock you and your sect master in the second palace for you two to interact? After hearing that, the Yuehua sect disciple felt a shudder run through his spine and did not dare to utter a word more. After the Yuehua sect master was subdued, everyone decided to proceed further into the palace. The demonic creature outside the palace never left. Even if everyone wanted to retreat from the palace, it was impossible. There was no other choice other than proceeding forward. Very quickly, everyone passed through the huge iron door and arrived at the second palace. This mysterious palace was extremely gigantic. Entering the palace, they felt like a grain of sand falling into an ocean. As Yi Qingtang walked into the second palace, she inspected the place clearly without letting off a single detail. The Yuehua sect master went berserk after entering the second palace. Perhaps what caused the Yuehua sect master to go berserk rested in here. Holy Lady, there is something strange about the smell of this place. The Blood Moon Elder walked to Yi Qingtang and said softly. Yi Qingtang nodded slightly. She felt that it was rather odd as well. This smell is... Yi Qingtang's brows were slightly furrowed. Black heaven water? There was an extremely faint scent in the second palace which would not be easily sensed if not attentive. This sweet scent was extremely similar to that of the black heaven water. Yi Qingtang was in deep thought. In her previous life, apart from knowing that Ning Luo obtained the black heaven water in this mystic realm, she once saw it in the second mainland. Thus, she always remembered its smell. However, the smell here seemed to be mixed with some other things. Before Yi Qingtang could think it through, a crazy laugh suddenly erupted from the crowd. Chapter 598. Illusion 1. As if this laugh was infectious, in just a while, the numerous disciples who escaped from the second palace stood together and drew out their weapons with a crazed expression, similar to the Yuehua sect master previously. Without saying anything, those people slaughtered many instantly. Those who were killed were not on their guard and were thus slain in one strike. In just a moment, blood spouted everywhere, and the intense smell of blood filled the air. Everyone was alarmed to see the blinding patches of blood and hurriedly pulled a distance away from those 10 or so people. What happened to them? Someone questioned in shock. It's the same as the Yuehua sect master just now. Could it be that these people also went berserk? Everyone looked at those 10 over people, astonished. Everyone, hold your nose. Don't breathe in the scent here. Yi Qingtang reminded everyone immediately. Although this scent was similar to Black Heaven waters, it was mixed with something different. Yi Qingtang thought that everyone's berserk state was definitely related to the scent in this second palace, and it was highly possible that they lost their minds because of this scent. Moreover, after observing their condition, it seemed that the stronger one's skills were, the faster the scent would take effect. For example, that Yuehua sect master went crazy instantly while those people trapped with him were not as skilled as the Yuehua sect master and thus flared up later. Scumbag! The Yunshao sect elder hollered angrily and looked at Yi Qingtang. I already said not to open the giant steel door just now. If you had not let them out. Without waiting for him to finish his sentence, Yi Qingtang snickered coldly. If I did not let them out and have an additional 10 or so martial chi level 3 people, do you think we could have subdued the Yuehua sect master? You, the Yunshao sect elder glared angrily and wanted to speak but was stopped by Yi Qingtang. If not for me, all of you would have been slain by the Yuehua sect master. As Yi Qingtang said that, those people charged towards the crowd with chortles. The scene fell into chaos once again. Originally, these 10 or so people were nothing to be fearful of, but an increasing number of super sect disciples went crazy after breathing in the strange smell and joined the camp of those people. This is bad, Yi Qingtang frowned deeply. If this continued, everyone would probably die here. Leave. After ordering the Blood Moon Elder to leave, Yi Qingtang used her primordial chi which allowed her to boost her speed to the maximum as she ran forward. The third palace was 1,000 meters away. Yi Qingtang's the fastest. She opened the huge iron door in the blink of an eye and entered the third palace. There was a giant stone statue of a lady in the third palace. The lady carved out of stone had stunning beauty and was almost lifelike in appearance. A small gold bottle stood quietly in her hands. That was also where the smell came from it. Black Heaven water. Yi Qingtang's expression changed slightly. Her goal of entering the mystic realm from the very start was for the Black Heaven water. But after entering the 100-level peril hell of Avicinaraka, she no longer had any desire to search for the Black Heaven water. Yet, unexpectedly, the Black Heaven water was actually in the hands of a stone statue in the third palace. Yi Qingtang did not rashly retrieve the Black Heaven water at the first moment but inspected the stone statue before her carefully instead. When Yi Qingtang confirmed that there was no issue with the stone statue, she leaped up and retrieved the Black Heaven water in the stone statue's hand. However, the moment when Yi Qingtang obtained it, her vision suddenly blurred when her eyes swept over the stone statue again. Her mind was in a whirl, and it was as though she did not even have the strength to stand up. Time passed. It seemed like the blink of an eye yet also like an entire century. Yi Qingtang finally regained strength. But the moment she opened her eyes, Yi Qingtang was stunned, and her eyes suddenly dilated. There was no mysterious palace nor 100-level peril hell of Avicinaraka. At this instant, Yi Qingtang shockingly found out that she was no longer in that strange palace or even at any corner in the hell of Avicinaraka but at a stable and prosperous imperial city. Standing rooted to the ground, Yi Qingtang scanned her surroundings with a strange expression. Every place that her eyes landed on felt extremely familiar. A figure suddenly appeared before Yi Qingtang. It was a lady with extraordinary beauty, but at that instant, that lattice face was filled with fluster, and her steps were hurried as though she was escaping. That is me. Shock flashed across Yi Qingtang's eyes as she looked at that frantic lady. That lady clearly had the same exact face as her. Just as Yi Qingtang was shocked, angry cries suddenly traveled to her ears. The heart of the demon god appeared. Capture that woman. As long as we catch her, the heart of the demon god is ours. Yi Qingtang looked in the direction of the voice and saw a group of people crazily chasing after her. However, the faces of those people were very familiar to Yi Qingtang. This is the second mainland's central dynasty. Yi Qingtang mumbled as disbelief filled her eyes. Everything here was more than familiar. The memories that she tried hard to forget actually replayed before her eyes again. In her previous life, she came to the second mainland by chance 10 years later, and the place she was standing right now was the largest central dynasty of the second mainland. The central dynasty had one of the most powerful forces in the second mainland, and even the super sects on the second mainland could not be compared to it. In her previous life, Yi Qingtang entered an academy and continued to cultivate after entering the second mainland. However, it was on this day in her previous life when the sacred martial academy which she entered discovered her heart of the demon god. Find authorized novels in webnovel faster updates. Better experience, please click for visiting. When her heart of the demon god was discovered, the entire sacred martial academy was deployed to obtain the heart of the demon god in her body. After Yi Qingtang escaped, this news traveled to the ears of the royal family in the central dynasty. Thus, it sent many powerful royals to encircle and kill Yi Qingtang. And it was on this day in her previous life where her best friend died at the scene in order to protect her. Could this be my mental demons? Yi Qingtang shook her head. She clearly remembered that she was in the hell of Avicinaraka. However, as the piercing sound rang, Yi Qingtang ran forward without having time to think deeply. Some time later, Yi Qingtang followed those powerful figures who chased after her life and arrived at a deserted land. Hand the demon god over. Ha! Yi Qingtang, it is a waste for the heart of the demon god to be in your body. Some youngsters scoffed as they looked at the lady who was cornered. But why must you all do this to me? The lattice face was full of despair and panic. They were her senior brothers and sisters who stuck together through life and death in the past. Why would they corner her to this point just for a heart of the demon god? Yi Qingtang, hand the heart of the demon god over. A few elderlies rushed over very quickly. President. The lady was in disbelief as she looked at the Sacred Martial Academy's president who was once friendly and compassionate. The current president was like a whole other person, no longer the president she knew. Swoosh. At that instant, numerous powerful figures from the royal family of the Central Dynasty stood in the air and towered over the lady. One of them stared at the lady indifferently and scoffed. Yi Qingding, hand the heart of the demon god to me. Yu Qingqiu. She was in utter disbelief as she looked at that female royal who looked down at her without any emotions. Qingqiu, why? Have you forgotten? I was the one who supported you in stabilizing your position as the princess. If I hand the heart to you, I will die. After hearing that, the female royal sneered scornfully. You're a useless thing who does not have a spirit root. With the heart of the demon god in you, it's only a reckless waste of natural resources. I'm very thankful to you for helping me to ascend to the position as the princess. Since that's the case, you can help me to the end. Hand the heart of the demon god to me. Yi Qingtang suddenly narrowed her eyes as she watched the scene before her. A feeling of depression that had been repressed for a long time seeped out of her chest. In her previous life, after arriving at the central mainland, she cultivated in the Sacred Martial Academy. That was where she got acquainted with a genius disciple in the academy, Yu Qingqiu. Yu Qingqiu's identity was actually the illegitimate daughter of the emperor of the central royal family. Back then, Yi Qingtang supported Yu Qingqiu fully and ultimately helped her to ascend to the position as the eldest princess of the central dynasty. Yi Qingtang treated Yu Qingqiu as her close friend, yet she never expected that she wanted to snatch her heart of the demon god today. Clink. A cold glint flickered in Yi Qingtang's eyes. She drew her demonic blood sword out immediately and slashed at Yu Qingqiu. Swoosh. The blood-colored sword's slight disappeared after a second as though it slashed in the air. Yu Qingqiu's body was not injured at all, and even more so, this attack did not attract the attention of anyone at all. It was as if they did not sense anything. The savage and arrogant laughter on their face remained. Yi Qingtang was slightly shaken when her sword slashed in the air. The murderous intent in her eyes subsequently faded as she chuckled. This place is indeed my reverse mental demons. All of this is merely my obsession. The scene before her was a memory in the deepest corner of her mind that she could not bear to recall. The current her was only an onlooker and nothing more. Yu Qingqiu, I can understand if people want to snatch my heart of the demon god. But why do Sacred Martial Academy, and you want to kill me as well? Does benefit override everything in this world? The lady was filled with despair, with grief and resentment clearly seen on her face. Yi Qingtang cut the crap. Hand the heart of the demon god over. We will not take your life. What has your life or death got to do with us? We only want the heart of the demon god. As for your life or death, it will be left to the heavens to decide. Everyone from Sacred Martial Academy had a cold attitude. To them, the heart of the demon god was what they truly wanted. As for Yi Qingtang, she was merely a sacrifice in their struggle for the heart of the demon god. Chapter 601, Mental Demons, 1. Before this extraordinary gain, had they ever thought of Yi Qingtang as their companion? The moment those people spoke, a few shadows from far away darted towards them. The leader of the group was donned in a dragon robe. Standing afar, he had an overbearing aura that was so mighty it was as though it could crush everything in the world. The Emperor of Central Dynasty. As the onlooker, Yi Qingtang's brows were furrowed as she watched that man who was standing in the air. Central Dynasty and Sacred Martial Academy were her archenemies. One day, she would still head to the Central Dynasty, and at that time, she would definitely erase their names from this world. Hand the heart of the demon god over. The Emperor of the Central Dynasty looked at the lady unsympathetically as though he was looking at a tiny ant. Currently, the lady was already at a dead end. Yi Qingtang, I told you to be on your guard against Yu Qingqiu and the Sacred Martial Academy, but you didn't listen. Do you regret it now? However, in this desperate situation, a cold laugh suddenly reverberated throughout the place. Everyone looked at the sky immediately. A giant ape descended from the sky and landed near the lady gradually. His huge frame guarded in front of the lady. Beidou Demon Lord of the Demon Clan? Beidou Demon Lord, the #1 talent of the ape clan's descendants? Many onlookers discussed after seeing that giant ape. Brother, when Yi Qingtang saw the giant ape who protected the lady behind him, she shivered as the past memories floated to her mind. In her previous life, Yi Qingtang finally became a holy venerate after 300 years. In these 300 years, she had a total of 6 sworn brothers, and this giant ape from the demon clan of the Central Dynasty was one of them. Addressed as Beidou Demon Lord by others, he was one of the 10 top talents on this mainland and held a place on the talent roll. Beidou Demon Lord, could it be that you wish to take a share of the loot as well? Yu Qingqiu looked at Beidou Demon Lord. Beidou Demon Lord scoffed. Yi Qingtang is my sworn younger sister. No matter how heartless I am, I will not attack my own sister. Seeming to hear the meaning behind Beidou Demon Lord's words, a royal from the Central Dynasty said, Beidou Demon Lord, this has nothing to do with you. It's better not to get into trouble. Your demon clan and we, Central Dynasty royals, are already on bad terms. Do you still wish to deepen the conflict? Beidou Demon Lord laughed loudly out of a sudden. I, Beidou Demon Lord, may be an ape from the demon clan, but I don't represent the demon clan on this mainland. Today's incident is solely my intention and has nothing to do with the demon clan. As the Beidou Demon Lord finished his sentence, his body enlarged instantly and extended several hundred meters. It was though he was a giant demon that covered the sky. Qingtang leave. Immediately, the giant ape grabbed Yi Qingtang and sprinted forward. Behind them was the pitch-black Dead Sea with a turbulent storm in the air above it. The giant ape brought the lady and crossed into the Dead Sea. Everyone present was appalled by the sight. As Yu Qingqiu watched Beidou Demon Lord enter the Black Dead Sea, she hollered furiously. Beidou Demon Lord, are you crazy? That is the Sea of Death. No matter how powerful you are, You will still be torn into pieces by the turbulent storm once you enter the Dead Sea. Ha! Beidou Demon Lord laughed loudly. Don't you all want my sister's heart of the demon god? Are you all scared of this Dead Sea now? Everyone from the Central Dynasty Royals and Sacred Martial Academy watched on angrily but could not do anything either. While the heart of the demon god was good, if their lives were gone, it was useless no matter how good it was. One would definitely die after entering the Sea of Death, as the turbulent storms could shred everything into pieces. If they chased after him and entered it, wouldn't they be completely churned by that turbulent storm as well? While everyone was unreconciled, they could only watch Beidou Demon Lord bring Yi Qingtang away with their eyes wide open. Immediately, Yi Qingtang ignored the Sea of Death and chased after Beidou Demon Lord. All of this was merely a part of Yi Qingtang's mental demons. In this space, she was intangible and invisible. Thus, the Sea of Death did not have any effect on her. Everything here was merely an illusion from her memory. Sometime later, Yi Qingtang arrived near the bottom of the Sea of Death. At that instant, Beidou Demon Lord was already drenched in blood, and all his fur was stained red, while the Black Dead Sea was also dyed crimson by his blood. On the other hand, the Yi Qingtang from the previous life was wrapped in a ray of golden light and was completely isolated from the torrential storm of the Dead Sea. She did not sustain a single injury. Beidou Demon Lord's body was hundreds of meters large. So magnificent was it that it seemed like a pillar that supported the sky, astounding everyone. Yet presently, this tall and indomitable frame was a ghastly sight. The turbulent storms in the surrounding had already cut Beidou Demon Lord's flesh into pieces, and blood cascaded like raindrops. Brother! As the lady saw that the giant ape still stood straight and upright in this deathly situation, tears streamed down her face. Haha! Beidou Demon Lord looked at the sky and laughed, ignoring the blood that spouted out of all the ruptured cuts. I, Beidou Demon Lord, can be considered to have crossed the Sea of Death in this lifetime. From now on, historical records must mention my name. Subsequently, Beidou Demon Lord lowered his head and looked at the lady in the golden light. Qingtang, the golden light on your body is converted from my demon core. Even if you are in this Sea of Death, you can get through a day. With the lady in his hands, the giant ape moved his legs with extreme difficulty. With every step he took in this Sea of Death, a glaring blood print was left below his feet. Each step depleted Beidou Demon Lord's vitality continuously. However, Beidou Demon Lord seemed to have no fear at all as he walked forward upright. He was very clear that only by sending his sister to a safe land above the Dead Sea would he prevent those people from taking her life. Must not stop. Brother, let's return. Your body is no longer able to withstand the force of the turbulent storms. The lady said and looked up at the giant ape. However, Beidou Demon Lord did not utter a single word and walked several miles in the Sea of Death before arriving at an unknown island. The moment Beidou Demon Lord's feet stepped on the island, boom! A loud sound erupted. Beidou Demon Lord's huge frame collapsed with a crash. As gushes of blood from his body dyed the ground, his vitality disappeared rapidly. Brother! The lady felt a piercing pain in her eyes as she watched the giant ape turn back into a normal human. The ape said between pants. That year, when we became sworn siblings, said that I would do my duty as the older brother. I have done it. The lady wept silently as she held onto the pair of furry hands. You have a simple and kind heart. It's a good thing, but also a bad one. In this world, one may know a person's face, but not his heart. From now on, you must not tell anyone about the heart of the demon god in your body. The ape's body quivered, and color slowly drained from his eyes as though he was at the point of death. I hate that I have not saved my father. I have become the number one in the demon clan. I am not resigned to this. I hate this so much. The ape muttered. A repressed sound escaped from Beidou Demon Lord's blood-stained lips, and his furry hands clutched on Yi Qingtang tightly. Suddenly, all force was lost from his hands, which hung down weakly right after. Brother! The lady screamed in grief. For 3 whole days, The lady sat beside the ape without consuming anything. With no more tears left to cry, her empty eyes were filled with repression as she looked at the ape beside her. If not for her, how would Beidou Demon Lord have died? If not for her, Yi Qingtang stood there for a long time. As she watched herself from her previous life sit in front of Beidou Demon Lord, it was as if a huge boulder weighed down on her heart. Even if she knew the scene before her was only an illusion from her previous life, but she once again saw the scene of her brother dying because of her. After a long time, the lady buried Beidou Demon Lord there and walked into the forest. Once the lady left, Yi Qingtang walked forward and knelt before Beidou Demon Lord's new grave. She swore to herself with a firm expression in her eyes. "Brother, in this lifetime, I will definitely protect your safety." Beidou Demon Lord was her first sworn brother in her previous lifetime and died on this unnamed island in order to protect her. His dream was not even accomplished. I, Yi Qingtang, swear to destroy Sacred Martial Academy and Central Dynasty and to help brother to rescue his father. In this life, I must not let brother have a tragic death. Yi Qingtang obtained a bottle of wine from her space ring. She drank half of the bottle and subsequently poured the other half in front of the grave. This was the Beidou Demon Lord from her previous life, but she was reborn and time reversed. In this life, Beidou Demon Lord was still alive. As Yi Qingtang looked at herself from her past life cultivate painstakingly every day, she did not know what to feel. After Beidou Demon Lord had sent her to this island in her previous life, Yi Qingtang lived on this island for half a year and discovered some secrets of the origins of the Demon Clan and the Central Dynasty royals from the relics on the island. One day when the turbulent storms of the Dead Sea disappeared, Yi Qingtang finally left this place. After leaving the Sea of Death, Yi Qingtang headed to other mainlands and never returned here. "These are my mental demons. You wish to make use of my mental demons and trap me in it forever, don't you?" Yi Qingtang's eyes were firm. Despite all the twists and turns, her mind was still as resolute. She scoffed. "That's looking down on me too much already." "Holy Lady," suddenly, a vague voice sounded from nowhere. As this voice emerged, the sky shattered into pieces immediately like glass. Once Yi Qingtang opened her eyes, she realized that she had returned to the third palace. At that instant, Yi Qingtang was holding the demonic blood sword and pointed it straight at the Blood Moon Elder. "Holy Lady, wake up. I'm going to retaliate." The Blood Moon Elder shouted at Yi Qingtang frantically. Previously, the Blood Moon Elder followed Yi Qingtang into the third palace, but he suddenly saw Yi Qingtang holding onto the demonic blood sword and slashing towards him instantly, behaving no different from those who had lost their minds. Chapter 604, The Inscrutable Hearts of People, 1. At that instant, Yi Qingtang had already broken free from the screen of her mental demons and regained mental clarity. "You want to retaliate?" Yi Qingtang looked at the Blood Moon Elder. "Holy Lady, you're awake?" The Blood Moon Elder was slightly stunned when he saw Yi Qingtang speak. Yi Qingtang nodded. "I fell into my mental demons earlier, but I have broken free from it already." After hearing Yi Qingtang's words, the Blood Moon Elder had a shocked expression. "Mental demons?" Yi Qingtang looked down at the black heaven water in her hands. "There seems to be something wrong with this black heaven water." Yi Qingtang mumbled. The Blood Moon Elder walked forward immediately and looked at the black heaven water. "Holy Lady, can I have a look?" the Blood Moon Elder asked. Yi Qingtang handed the black heaven water to the Blood Moon Elder directly. Currently, Yi Qingtang had already trusted the Blood Moon Elder and was not worried that he would snatch her black heaven water away. After inspecting it for a long time, he covered the mouth of the bottle, and a black mist emerged from his palm subsequently. About a few breaths later, a pitch-black plant about the size of a thumb was sucked out from the mouth of the bottle by the Blood Moon Elder. "This is Ghostwood Root." The Blood Moon Elder was surprised, and even Yi Qingtang's brows were furrowed. The Ghostwood Root was a plant that grew in lands that were condensed with grievance, and it was bred using grievance. It only formed after 100 years of growth, and this Ghostwood Root that was about the size of a thumb required at least 200 years to grow. The Ghostwood Root emitted a faint scent. Once a cultivator breathed it in, they would hallucinate and be trapped in his deepest mental demons. The ghostwood root itself is not scary, and the diffusion of its scent is extremely limited, but when it's placed in the black heaven water, the effects are multiplied by at least a few times. Yi Qingtang frowned deeply as she pondered. When they entered the hell of Avicinaraka, everything seemed to be designed by someone. Cultivators like them who entered the hell of Avicinaraka were like chess pieces which were controlled and toyed by someone. What exactly is going on? The Blood Moon Elder was rather anxious. Looking back, it seemed like they were manipulated by an invisible hand throughout, including entering this mysterious palace. Yi Qingtang looked behind her. In the second palace, more than 10 people were in a frenetic state and fighting each other with their lives. A golden flame emerged in Yi Qingtang's palm immediately, burning the ghostwood root into ashes. At the same time, the people in the second palace who were originally killing others suddenly stopped. As the ghostwood root was completely burnt, the bewitching scent no longer persisted, and everyone naturally sobered up. What happened? I seem to be stuck in an illusion just now? The people in the second palace were very puzzled. Suddenly the Yunshao sect elder caught sight of Yi Qingtang, who held the black heaven water from the corner of his eyes. Black heaven water. After seeing the black heaven water in Yi Qingtang's hands, the Yunshao sect elder's expression changed immediately. The preciousness of the black heaven water was no less than that of the Paragon Dharma treasures on this mainland. Everyone knew that the black heaven water could cleanse the spirit root and evolve its physique. It was a rare treasure that could cause the super sects to go crazy over. However, this item was extremely hard to come by, and normal people simply did not even have the chance to see it. Is that the black heaven water in your hands? The Yunshao sect elder flew towards Yi Qingtang immediately and locked his eyes on the item in Yi Qingtang's hands. Chapter 605. The Inscrutable Hearts of People, 2. So what if it is? Yi Qingtang scoffed. The Yunshao sect elder never hid his thoughts. He did take a fancy on the black heaven water in Yi Qingtang's hand. Fellow, hand the black heaven water to me. The Yunshao sect elder's expression was cold as ice as he stretched a hand out to Yi Qingtang. Hand it to you? Yi Qingtang found it funny. This black heaven water is mine. Why must I hand it to you? At this instant, more and more super sects disciples and wardens noticed the black heaven water in Yi Qingtang's hands. Divide the black heaven water with everyone. That's right. We risked our lives to enter this mysterious palace and almost died in here. How can we let you enjoy this big destiny alone? Black heaven water? All of us should have a share. It should be divided amongst all of us. Many disciples and wardens shouted angrily. This black heaven water was extremely rare, and now that they had seen it, how would they let it go? Ah! Yi Qingtang's lips curled, and a cold sneer appeared on her face. As her eyes swept across everyone at the scene, she said, "If not for me, all of you would have died in your mental demons. Yet you all still want me to share this black heaven water out equally now? What a joke! We relied on our own abilities and walked out of our mental demons. It has nothing to do with you. You must want to have this black heaven water for yourself alone. That's right. Aren't you too selfish? If you don't divide the black heaven water out today, don't blame us for being heartless." Yi Qingtang could not help but recall her past life as she looked at the **Lu faces in the palace. In her past life, she had seen too many of these scenes because of the heart of the demon god. Today, others forced her to hand the black heaven water over, but in her past life, it was to force her to hand the heart of the demon god over. Sure. Yi Qingtang scoffed coldly and directly threw that golden bottle to the Yunshao sect elder. Currently, the black heaven water is no longer with me. If you all want it, ask for it from the Yunshao sect elder. Yi Qingtang sneered. Yi Qingtang had already expected this situation. Thus, she had already stored the black heaven water in her space ring earlier on. As for the golden bottle, she had already changed it into consumable clear water a long time ago. However, the black heaven water had been stored in the golden bottle for a long time, and even if it was replaced with clear water, the smell of the black heaven water was still extremely strong. Thus, no one would know that Yi Qingtang had already switched it. After everyone saw Yi Qingtang hand the Black Heaven water over to the Yunshao sect elder, everyone's eyes shifted away from Yi Qingtang and landed on the Yunshao sect elder. At that moment, the Yunshao sect elder treated it as a treasure and kept it immediately. Yunshao sect elder, what is the meaning of this? Do you want to hog the Black Heaven water for yourself? Seeing that the Yunshao sect elder did not intend to hand the Black Heaven water over, everyone apart from the Yunshao sect disciples was infuriated. While the Yunshao sect disciples were angry as well, they did not dare to speak their minds out. After all, he was an elder from their sect, and they could not say anything. The Yunshao sect elder sneered. 100 years ago, my Yunshao sect once had a portion of Black Heaven water but lost it later on. In my opinion, the Black Heaven water in this hell of Avicinaraka was the one that Yunshao sect lost back then. Is there anything wrong for me to retrieve my sect's item? What did you say? Yunshao sect elder, do you treat us as fools? When did your sect have the Black Heaven water? Even if it had the Black Heaven water, it has been lost for hundreds of years. What has it got to do with the Black Heaven water in this mystic realm? People from other super sects in the second palace sneered coldly. Chapter 606, The Inscrutable Hearts of People, 3. However, no one dared to move even though they felt that the Yunshao sect elder was deceiving them. After all, he was an elder of Yunshao sect. If they entered into a conflict here, people were afraid that it would result in a conflict between sects should they leave this place alive. However, everyone was unwilling to let the Yunshao sect elder keep the Black Heaven water for himself. As everyone was forcing the Yunshao sect elder to hand the Black Heaven water over, a black fog suddenly floated above everyone. The black fog suddenly formed into a male who was completely wrapped in a black robe. How interesting! The black-robed man's sinister laughter echoed throughout the entire hall. Upon hearing that voice, everyone immediately looked toward that black-robed man. Who are you? A super sect warden shouted at the black-robed man angrily. The black-robed man remained silent. The pair of eyes that were only revealed looked at Yi Qingtang quietly but looked away very quickly. Who exactly are you? The Yunshao sect elder sized up the black-robed man. However, the black robe was wrapped around the person securely, and it was impossible to see the person's face. Who I am is not important. The black-robed man laughed apathetically. The original plan is for you all to die here. It's truly weird. I placed the ghostwood root in the Black Heaven water, and according to logic, the effect of the ghostwood root should be strengthened multiple folds. All of you should have been trapped in your mental demons, making you all kill each other. The black-robed man mumbled, seeming to be speaking to himself yet also seeming to be telling everyone. Yi Qingtang's eyes were fixed on that black-robed man, and puzzlement filled her eyes. Although this black-robed man deliberately spoke with a soft voice, Yi Qingtang somehow felt that it was rather familiar. As the black-robed man finished his sentence, everyone was astounded. Being trapped in our mental demons was actually your doing. Who exactly are you? Why do you want to harm us? Everyone in the hall was enraged immediately. They almost died in this palace, and the main culprit was actually this black-robed man before them. Who I am is actually not important. The black-robed man shook his head and laughed. You all were sinners the moment you were born. Starting this 100-level peril hell of Avicinaraka was merely to use your blood to cleanse these sins in the world. Nonsense! How could someone be able to control the danger level of a mystic realm? If you don't speak the truth, I will slaughter you today. The Yunshao sect elder shouted furiously. Ignorant! The black-robed man scoffed. I originally wanted to use the ghostwood root to kill all of you, but it seems that this plan has failed. Since that's the case, let me personally release you sinners. Afterward, the black-robed man formed a print with his palms. Boom boom. In the next second, the entire palace rocked crazily and emitted loud rumbles. Very quickly, a blood-colored light enshrouded the entire palace. An endless sea of blood condensed from the red light and surged into the hall instantly. Extermination of life formation? After noticing the situation, the expressions of the Yunshao sect elder and other powerful figures changed drastically. The extermination of life formation was an extremely high-level and dangerous formation. In less than 15 minutes, any living beings in it would turn into blood water. This hall actually has the extermination of life formation. How can it be? For a moment, everyone in the palace was utterly frantic and could not believe it. In this case, the hell of Avicinaraka realm is simply a huge scheme. Even the supposed fiend celestial beast is also a big lie that was let out for this scheme. One of the super sect elders shouted. Chapter 607. The Extermination of Life Formation, 1. The hell of Avicinaraka is indeed a conspiracy. However, the fiend celestial beast is not a lie. There was a fiend celestial beast that ran into the hell of Avicinaraka a few hundred years ago. Actually, it has nothing to do with the fiend celestial beast. Ultimately, your sin stems from desire and greed. The black-robed man turned into a ball of black fog and disappeared. As the black-robed man disappeared, the palace was in total chaos. The extermination of life formation is turned on. We shall open the door together. The huge door of the hall was closed, and all exits were sealed off as the black-robed man left. Everyone took out their Dharma treasures and weapons and initiated strong attacks towards the huge door that determined their survival. However, though everyone combined their forces, the huge door remained intact. Yi Qingtang frowned. She looked at the Blood Moon Elder beside her and said, "Do you have any method to break the extermination of life formation?" The Blood Moon Elder contemplated for a while and said, "It shouldn't be a problem if I'm given enough time. However, under the current situation, before I can break the extermination of life formation, we will die here." Yi Qingtang did not say anything and took out the remaining talismans from her space ring. There were 3 talismans remained. 2 of them were from the little disciple of the Yunshao sect master that she killed. The last one was from the drained well in the blood-colored city. Yi Qingtang, I did not expect you to have the space transfer talisman. Suddenly, the black-robed man's deep voice came out of nowhere. The rest in the hall were busy attacking the huge door, and no one noticed the black-robed man's voice. However, Yi Qingtang was slightly shocked after hearing his words. Her disguise was considered rather successful. Even her parents might not recognize her. However, the black-robed man could see through her disguise. "May I know what you are?" Yi Qingtang scanned through her surroundings, but there was no trace of the black-robed man. There was no reply as well. It seemed that the black-robed man had left. "Holy Lady, did the black-robed man mention the space transfer talisman?" The Blood Moon Elder stared at the talisman in Yi Qingtang's hands and asked. "Yes," Yi Qingtang nodded. That was what the black-robed man referred to just now. The 2 talismans that Yi Qingtang got from the Yunshao sect disciple were not space transfer talismans. The only one left would be the mysterious talisman that she obtained from the city. The talisman was black in color and was engraved with mysterious words. It seemed that there was really turbulence of space energy within. "Holy Lady, I did sense that there was some space energy turbulence in the black talisman. However, the black-robed man was odd. Why would he tell you that this is the space transfer talisman? I am scared that it's a conspiracy," the Blood Moon Elder said seriously. The black-robed man's intention was to let everyone here die in the hall. It seemed that the black-robed man accidentally told Yi Qingtang that she had a space transfer talisman, but it was apparent that he said it on purpose. "We can only give it a try now. Otherwise, we will die in the extermination of life formation and turn into a pool of blood." Yi Qingtang frowned heavily. They could only try the talisman as there was no other option.